Howdy, folks. Welcome to Adventures in Alberon, Courts of Everest. I am Joe Treff, your DM this evening, and joining me are my friends Matt, Tina, Kara, Hannah, and Alana. And you can tell that they're my friends because I didn't put the camera directly on you when we came in. I was very tempted to.
So nice.
To watch people build a dice tower. But we are going to play some D&D tonight. We have a couple of things to do before we get started. 1 second here. Everybody okay?
Well, it's Alana's trying so hard to put it together quietly, but it's those magnets, you know, and it's like clack, clack, clack.
It happens like that. That's true.
We're lampshading it though, so it's okay.
I didn't hear it at all.
Fine, it's done.
So now that you've subtly put together the thing, a couple of announcements before we get started. First of all, last night we had our session of Mosaic Team 5, our Starfinder game. The group actually did very well, and then did very poorly, and did very well again, and then did extremely poorly. It was awesome. And if you want to see that, you can see it re-aired on YouTube at noon on Sunday, followed by this at 4 o'clock. We have YouTube, speaking of which, we also have Instagram, we have a website, alberonrpg.com, and at alberonrpg on social media. Any other announcements? I think that's all that I have. What?
I'm pointing at it.
Oh,
sure,
yeah,
like and
that.
subscribe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. The only other announcement that I have is that for music and sound effects and things of that nature, we have Sirenscape, which is a digital tool set that you can use to put sound into your games. We have what is called happy folksy music. I can blare that up a little bit more. Look at that. But there's all kinds of different things. There's things like what I have labeled as 8-bit happy music.
Oh.
Yeah, very
this
happy.
is gonna
Very
be
8-bit.
the fucking club song.
No, I do have Glub Song queued up, but all different kinds of songs, like the cute Glub
Queued
song.
up just in case.
Yeah,
It's just a nice. It's heartwarming.
yeah, it is very heartwarming. Oh, they changed it. Oh, like jungle music.
God, I'm having flashbacks.
Sirenscape is not a sponsor, and so I will say Sirenscape, a little disappointed.
Yeah. That's
But-
2 of the best ones. Gone.
Yeah. But with that, we can get into our recap in 1 second here. This is our own theme song. I forgot again. We have a finished theme song.
I was gonna say, I was so
Courts of
excited
Everest.
for
Oh my
it.
gosh. I keep forgetting. Somebody please remind me tomorrow. Tomorrow morning. Okay. Last week for this theme song. Adventurers, last that we played. Weary from battle, you had arrived at the Emerald Spire, and from a meta perspective, had leveled up to 4. However, before resting, you took some time to purchase new armor and equipment. Of course, to protect yourself. However, you all then, independently and often working against each other, or extremely obtusely assisting from a distance, you all reached the armored cuttlefish. It was here that you had heard your quarry, Dire Croak, had spent much time, and you hoped to find more information. Ori, on your way, you were immediately targeted as an easy mark.
They fucked up. Because we didn't die.
And the trap was set for you even as Cheshire and Minka drank next to the people who plotted against you. When you arrived, you were ambushed, with a brawl ensuing. You managed to kill all but one of the would-be assailants, convincing him that his friends were just asleep, though many of you did suffer wounds in the process. Eager to sleep, you returned, to awaken perhaps tomorrow with fresh eyes, to the Wincing Manticore, where Minka, Billy, and Alina all bathed and rested. Ori, you, however, decided to try and outdrink Crispy once more. And as you sit down to play a drinking game, Cheshire lurks in the back observing, and the candlelight that flickers and reflects off the Manticore's enchanted emerald walls begins to dim, and that is where we're beginning this evening. Give me 1 second here. And howdy, Gunner. All right.
So much done last time.
Huh?
We got so much done last time.
Did.
I have a note here that just says Ori has horse meat.
Yes.
We gonna resolve that?
No.
That would be
Like an
the
apple.
remains of his fallen companion that he
Like an
tried to
apple
sell to a
bury it.
bartender.
Bury it.
Yeah, at this point. I can't sell it soon. It's going to go bad. It's only been like a day.
Just make some sausage.
I dried it. I'm going to try it.
Okay, Ori.
I'll smoke it.
Just in your bedroom at this inn that somebody is paying for you to
I'm
stay
sure I
at.
could borrow Crispy's smoker. His name's fucking Crispy.
Anyhow. So, Ori, Crispy slides behind the small counter with 3 stools in front, and you can take a seat if you wish. The interior here is lit with candles placed on metal plates that jut out from the emerald pillars that support the ceiling above you. Crispy begins the process of taking out some glasses. Are you doing anything?
He had mentioned something special this time,
Oh, yeah.
right? Yeah, okay. And he had started telling me about it right at the end, I think.
Yep. But, so, okay.
So I'm gonna like get take a seat and be like,
You
all
pull
right.
up a stool to the middle. Cheshire, as this is happening, and you can see this individual, this small gnome, elderly, although kind of hard to tell his age, bends down behind the bar and produces between all of his fingers 4 shot glasses on each hand. And he sets them practiced down on the counter so that they kind of line up against each other. 4 of them across from Ori and 4 of them across from Crispy. And Crispy says, "This game is called 4 Seasons.
All right.
Now, you need to make it through a whole year, and if you do, you win, but you won't.
Wow. I'm gonna get you one day, Crispy.
Not today."
We'll see about that.
So he takes out a big jug, and you can see glass, almost like what you would imagine like a maple syrup container to be like, and it's full of something that does at first glance look like syrup. But as he opens it, then you smell honey that fills the air. This is mead, and he pours it out. It is dark and has a vague purple tint to it. That goes into the first shot glass
All right. What do we have here?
for both of them. He pulls out another. This is a bottle of ale. You can see a little bit of dust on it, and he takes out the cork.
He's not trying any funny business with this, right? Like this all seems Crispy's legit.
Make an insight check. It's an ale. Certainly, this kind of hits you in the nose. It's very much like an October kind of lager.
Seems
He
very
pours.
outrageous for us to wait for now to insight check Crispy.
Yeah,
Of course, he's legit.
2 little shots of these beers. 5,
25.
25. Yeah, I mean he's pouring drinks for a drinking
Yes,
game. You
he's
watch.
legit.
I mean he's pouring from the same bottle in each
Crispy's
one.
legit.
The third is a. This is similar to what you had seen in the mixologist, kind of clay pot, and so you know something that has fermented for a while. This looks a little bit different, and as it opens up, it smells powerfully of alcohol. This is like a moonshine, you would imagine.
So this must be a hard winter.
He takes it and kind of like whiffs in, and he just kind of goes, and he puts the thing back on, and he goes, "This will evaporate if we put it out too early." And he puts it back on the counter, and then in the back, he pulls out a tiny little, almost, it looks like sea glass, but a glass bottle. And it has facets to it, but then becomes round and smooth on the top, and then flares a little bit at the end. And he takes out a stopper and puts 2 small, almost like a half shot glass of what looks like a green liquid, and it smells like juniper. But he sets now all these drinks out.
Do any of them look like anything that I've had before besides the corked one?
I mean, you've had mead, you've had ale, you've probably had, like, as you look at this bottle,
It's
that
like
is.
the Feywild.
This is more like traditional moonshine.
Okay.
You would imagine, although
Yeah.
I would say go ahead and make a check for your Feywild knowledge, whatever that roll is.
Yeah. Would this count more as history or nature?
I would say this would be history.
Okay. 19.
19. This is. You talked about it being a harsh winter, and that's not wrong. This is similar to what we, in the real world, would call Everclear.
Okay.
Probably about 180 proof.
Nice.
It's moonshine. And you see now, as you really inspect it, there is fragments of what look like maybe bone. And thinking about what you know, that's just a little too low to really know what that is. But something maybe organic kind of floating within. You've heard of this drink, you just can't quite remember what it is, but it's called Winter's Kiss.
Okay.
And so very apt that it would be a harsh winter.
Okay. And then the summer or spring, I guess, the last one.
So you would imagine the very first one, as you kind of look at it, and Crispy's actually going to say, first up is spring. Enjoy it while you can. And he slides a little glass and almost like wobbles a little bit on the counter.
Crispy, a
All right. So,
Takes a drink.
Thank you,
It is honey. It's cloying, but it is delicious. There's a hint of elderberry to it, and that's probably where the color comes from. You hardly taste any alcohol.
Did you
And as
just chase the
the
sorry.
non-existent alcohol.
Yeah, you got it. As it seeps into you and the warmth spreads across your chest, this is a drink that is happy and very easy to consume.
Nice.
It's joyful in a way, and it reminds you more of summer than spring. Sorry,
Get me ready for the harsh
Cheshire.
winter ahead.
Give me 1 second.
I'm gonna beat Crispy. I got this.
I'm a little guy.
As this is happening, all around, you can see there is the glow of the candles. And unlike other places in the spire, these are just regular candles that twinkle like starlight as they reflect off the various emerald surfaces here. But they grow a little bit darker, and to you, though you can see the moving flames, it's like the light that they give almost dies. And in that moment, all that you can see, sort of suspended off of Ori's back, is the staff. Like everything else blurs out around, and all that you can see in focus is this piece of wood. And then off of it, drifting away and catching your attention, are wisps of smoke. Make a perception check.
All right, Crispy. One season down.
That's the easy one. Make a Constitution saving throw, by the way.
It's a 19.
19? Okay.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. All right,
Ooh.
that's a success.
Starting off strong. Let's go.
You know what happens when you start off strong.
Yeah.
Cheshire, with the 19, you see these wisps of smoke spread out, and you could imagine almost like if the staff were like a half-melted candlestick. This is like the smoke that comes when it's extinguished, but it has more purpose than that. And you can see it becomes almost ribbons that twist around the room. And these tendrils of smoke seem to disappear through the walls, through the ceiling, through the windows. You can't quite see where all of them go, but you do see one of them, very short, plunges directly into Ori's chest. There's another twisting amongst all of them that you are able to trace back as it comes directly to you, and looking down to your side, it goes over your shoulder and into your bag. There are more. You see 3 that go off to the west, you see several to the north, and then as they twist and move, it's hard to keep track of them all, but you feel in this moment that there is a connection amongst all of this, and you're not sure how, but you know that the staff comes from the magiocracy of the Rising Storm. Something about its construction, and you're not sure of how you know that the turtle who had spoken Sylvan to the group had spoken about it, but this seems connected in an important way. And then as you think of how nice it would be to have, there is an element as you look at all these wisps and strings where it might be good to let it lead you somewhere else. Do you want to act on this in any way, or are you happy with just this information?
Does it seem to be presently leading anywhere? Or is it just kind of...
Directly to Crispy.
Make a insight check.
So how was your day, Crispy?
Hang on 1 second. I can only concentrate on one thing at a time right now. 15? With the 15, as you look and watch across all of this, it just looks random. And as they move, you sense intention, but you can't see it. There is something further away at play. There is nothing immediately that is happening, but there are many, many links to this object.
We'll keep an eye on it, but without any leads, so to say. She's content to watch for now.
Okay. And then your vision slowly expands and the focus becomes a little bit wider. Ori, for you, Crispy just turns and you ask him how his day has been, and he said, well, pretty boring. Not a lot of business at a place called the Wincing Manticore, but... and he takes his other glass, and as you drink it down, rich, dark, malty notes, very much tastes of fall harvests and dark nights. Make a wisdom saving throw, please.
Wisdom. Ooh, that's actually... Well, I'm going to say it, and then it's going to...
Don't say it, don't jinx it.
21.
Hey, there you go. Not bad. As this seeps into you, there is a sense of excitement that grips your heart. Like a cold night, you feel okay. Your vision is beginning to get a little foggy, and as the things warm up, it's getting a little hot in here. But looking across, you can still see Crispy. You're not like losing focus on him yet. But he takes this other glass and he slides it across to you, and he stops. He puts his hand out, and as he takes the top off the big moonshine kind of bottle, and he's about to pour it, he says, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
Crispy.
Ori.
I'm gonna beat you. You're just getting
he
scared.
pours it in, and he pours it in, and this smell hits you. It's it's like burning hair. Is kind of the closest sort of smell. Yeah. And he just slams it down. Absolutely no problem. Go ahead and for me, make a wisdom saving throw.
I feel like if Matt lived in D&D, this is just how he'd be spending his time.
Absolutely.
All right, not as good, but a 16.
Okay. So as this hits your mouth, in the same way that you would imagine... I don't know what that was.
Spin me out.
That one hit
In the same way that you would imagine your throat contracts when water falls into it, your mouth almost closes. It's like the walls of your mouth try to seize in to keep this from going down. Everything in your body, having just been around these poisonous creatures, screams at you that this is dangerous, but you gulp it down. Something about this tastes like hair, certainly, and there is something about this that feels deeply, deeply itchy. And you are quite drunk. In fact, Ori, almost immediately, you are about as drunk as you've ever been. And he turns and he says, the Minotaur's horn gets you every time. This will be so much fun tomorrow.
Not done yet.
Your face, or
We
you're
said-
gonna offend the man.
There's one season. I got 3. That's more than one.
Well, I'll tell you what, everybody enjoys and deserves a spring. So go right ahead, Ori.
Well, you gonna do it too?
Takes his little glass. It's like in his hand, actually. He's a gnome.
So what happens if I do it and you also do it? Do I still win?
Yeah, sure.
Everybody's a winner.
All right.
Ting. And as you slam this back, it is very simple. It's refreshing. It is like a little bit of juniper, almost like gin. And this is a a breath of fresh air for spring. And you immediately note infused with stargrass.
What?
Cheshire, you watch as Ori goes to sleep on the bar.
I got you now, Crispy.
Poor buddy.
It's
Go through
gone.
his pockets.
Okay. Go ahead and make an investigation. Actually, you know what? Ori is asleep. And Ori, you can mark off a long rest.
Yay.
Oh.
You would absolutely at this point, with all the time in the world, just kind of go through his stuff. Although as you start, Crispy jumps from the stool to the bar counter and goes, "Wait." Dips in the right pocket, and he kind of goes over and he starts going through as well. Go ahead and make an investigation. Yeah. What does Cheshire find?
2 gold pieces.
Damn.
You find a blowgun,
Ooh, and you see Crispy just takes that.
That's not in the right pocket.
No, but that's what he's gonna take.
Oh. Blowgun needles.
He just
there are
he
10.
just disappears off the bar with us now, and you watch as he goes. He goes to getting a stool and some boxes.
I
Definitely has a plan
imagine
for
it's
this.
like a little, like almost a little pouch, and it's got like little darts, and then the blowgun.
It's like a quiver almost. Yeah,
It's just like a
No
little,
worries.
little like belt pouch.
And over the course of like the next couple minutes, you watch as he mounts it behind the bar, so that it's like almost like what a rifle would be like. behind
These
the-
are actually gone because they're on the floor from
Yep,
the
yep.
Oh, yeah, the
spill.
ball bearings. So take a little bit and look through that.
You can have the bell.
You can have it.
I think she's gonna take whatever she wants off that
Crowbar.
list.
I want your flute.
Don't take my flute.
Nice.
No more haunting melodies, Rory.
Oh, but that's the one thing that's got
Cheshire is doing the whole party a service right now.
I'm taking your rope.
Oh man.
This is called putting Ori under control. No more diplomacy for Ori.
I want your string too.
No, not my string.
How much string does a person need?
He's got a lot of
10
string.
feet.
Or does fiber arts in a spare
You've noticed he has a lot of friendship bracelets.
Yeah, yeah. There's always some macrame element on his clothing.
There's a few like hand-tied rugs.
Yeah.
He's got little animals and things. So as you two explore that, Cheshire, is there anything else you're doing other than looting your friend?
After that, I would leave him at the bar, wave goodnight to Crispy, and go to bed.
Okay. Kind of polishing the blowgun a little bit, he would just go, good night. Oh, and before you go, he stops you and says, you're meeting with Hearsome tomorrow.
That's the story.
You should probably bring a leash for this one. Just between you and me.
you know, Crispy?
Good night. And he just kind of like goes back to like polishing things up and cleaning things up.
Well, first.
All of you can mark off a long rest. All of you thus level up to 4.
Yay!
We did it.
Oh.
And you survived. Wow. Okay, so morning comes, and it is. Give me 1 second here. The 8th of Summertide. This is a Saturday, and you all come to relatively early in the morning, right around 6 o'clock. Or you are going to wake up last. For the rest of you, you wake up relatively close together, maybe Cheshire just a little bit later, but one by one, if you wish, you can find your way downstairs. Is there anything that you want to do before sort of getting the morning going?
I put on my armor.
Okay, good.
Put on the
You
new
made a point to
clothing.
do that when you got back from the tap.
Yeah, but I'm making another point to do it just in case.
Excellent. It's like when you're not sure if you click, so you like click twice
Saving,
again.
yeah.
No problem. So you all find your way downstairs, and after like 30 minutes, Ori has not come down.
Already down, right?
No, Crispy presumably brought you back upstairs.
Okay.
Is Crispy there?
Yeah. Just whistling, and as you go downstairs, you hear like a stool shift, and you can see he's like pulled it so that when you come down, he's like perfectly underneath his new blowgun that like hangs above the bar.
Crispy.
Yes.
Where's Ori?
Oh, Ori's upstairs, sleeping off the night.
I see you've, you want a prize then from last night?
You could say that. Everybody's a winner, really.
Right.
Or you will be.
What?
You will be.
Alina's gonna just like turn around and trudge upstairs and like find the door that she assumes is Ori's and just
Yeah, the only one that's still closed. And you hear like loud snoring. But no problem. Opening the door, you see like passed out. Ori only got him like a few feet in, just enough to close the door because he's a gnome. It's like hard to lug this dude up the stairs for him, but he did it. And Ori is just kind of sprawled out. You see like a trail of drool on the hardwood floor.
Billy's followed you up and like, nice.
I'm gonna nudge him with my hoof.
Okay.
And be like, Ori, rise and shine. Big day today.
Ori, you hear this and you wake up and brace yourself. You feel great.
Ah.
You slept wonderfully. You slept heavily. You don't remember a single thing. In fact, thinking back, you remember sitting down and you going, "I'm gonna get you this time," and then nothing else after the initial sort of drink. But you feel great. It's one of those rare times where after a night out of actual blackout drinking, you wake up. This is like drinking when you're like 21. You wake up feeling functional and like a human,
Wow.
which is crazy because you're
Right. So, good morning, shall we?
Yeah. You didn't wind up drinking then?
I don't know, but
Oh, he did.
so did I win?
In a manner of speaking.
All right.
Christy said everyone was a winner.
It seems
yes.
like we are.
That's not fair, is it?
All right.
It's really not.
Well,
Really, kind of buzzkill just going to bed that early.
It really is
true.
on you.
It is really true.
Well, I'm just
Why
glad we
is
didn't have to
everyone in
find
my
anyone
room?
again this time?
All right.
Yeah.
So, off to hear some.
Well, let's all make
Breakfast?
sure we're looking sharp
Breakfast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to do breakfast today.
Oh, that's
You
all
were
right.
supposed to go see Hearsome.
Oh, all right. Well, when we get back,
Maybe.
this.
Come on, fancy clothes,
All right.
everybody.
I
Chop,
just
chop.
don't know if I have anything to like.
That's fine.
Ori,
You
put
know
on your
what I
fine
like,
clothes.
Crispy.
Billy.
Just got this. It's new.
All right. What am I doing? Oh,
Just like in leather,
well,
studded leather armor.
fancy clothes.
Dress to impress. Everybody meet downstairs once you're ready. And Alina's gonna go like do as much primping and as she can.
No problem. So all of you, in various ways, prepare yourself for the day. Some of you more than others, apparently.
No, I'd
And-
wash up.
Exiting out into the warm and welcome way, there is traffic. There are people all about. You can see some of the stores that are relatively familiar to you, but you know that Hearsome had initially told you to meet him at the Lexagi Barracks number 6. Is that where you're heading?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Alina's
yes.
definitely like making a beeline there.
Okay. So you make a beeline there. As you reach the bottom point where this long road reaches sort of the lowest element of the Emerald Spire and then begins to rise back up, there is the tallest structure, the Lexagi Barracks. And you can see above it a proud flag hangs where Billy once did. Within, there is a fair amount of activity, although you do not see this long-haired elven captain. The person who seems to be leading things within this place is a familiar elf to you. This is Feywind Arya, who seems to be at this moment acting as the sort of head of this place. But reaching her, oh, now I have to do her voice. That means, yeah, okay.
Oh, I just remembered what she sounds like.
I played myself. Oh, hi there! And she turns, the armor all clinking, almost like this metallic green. You guys are back in town.
Yes.
You're probably looking for Hearsome, huh?
That is
Well,
correct.
He's having breakfast at the mixologist, and y'all can probably find him there.
All right then.
Hope there's breakfast for us too.
I'm sure there will be breakfast for us there too.
Let's go then.
I just heel turn and off to the mixologist.
Walk right away. Making your way,
Like food there?
I don't think so.
talking and walking. You remember that they said no food. And so as you approach the mixologist, that is something certainly to think about. But today, the scene is a little bit different. A different bartender today, a muscular elven man wearing a black vest festooned with a design not unlike a fleur-de-lis across the breast, over a crisp white shirt and a mop of fiery red hair that comes down in double loose braids below his left ear. Very similar in shade to Hearsome's. Unlike you, Hearsome has food in front of him. At the table, you can see a full spread of what looks like a very hearty road breakfast. You can see like some bread, some cheese. There are some preserved fruits and different things of that, and really just like spread across this whole table, where Hearsome is just seated by himself. You can see he's just wearing fairly normal clothing. This very handsome archfey. He looks out across all of you as you approach and smiles. It's been exactly 3 days.
That's right, Fearsome. Yes, we're back.
And where's Direcroak?
Well, we've gathered some intelligence on that front. He appears to have fled to Petrichor. We learned he's probably at the House of Sorrowful Rain.
But you don't actually have anything new.
That's
Well, that's new to us.
information. It's new information. It's
You can see he sighs a little bit. He like places his bread down on the plate and he says, I try so hard not to be disappointed by your ilk, but I find myself again and again.
Does the masked man have any meaning to you?
No.
Well,
Ori, don't.
This
interrupt.
treaty calls for all of you to be executioners of the particulars. So you must go to Petrichor, it sounds like.
That is the plan, sir. Yes, we just figured we would report back and then try to be less disappointing this time.
that's probably.
It will be difficult. You've already wasted 3 days returning here. Normally, you would take the Weaver's Path and go through your own home, I believe. However, that would take too long. So, instead, you will go east to Hopewell. You will meet a friend who will help you get to Petrichor by repaying a favor that I owe her. She's promised to rid me of a very irksome problem.
Like how we're a problem or something kind of different?
Much worse.
Alright. Okay.
I think we were.
Who are we going to meet exactly?
There is an orc that you will meet there.
Alright. Does this orc have a name?
She will make herself known.
Right.
You are expected.
Wonderful.
Okay.
Well, we should not.
Is there anything that we should know danger-wise before we go to Hopewell?
Thank you for asking, Minka. No.
Okay. Okay.
Have none of you been to Hopewell before?
Have
Probably not. He kind of sighs and he says, in such a mundane place as the material plane, I would imagine that you would try to see the most advanced things that you have all accomplished, or so I'm told.
I'm from the sticks.
Well, Hopewell is the attempt at recreating the Emerald Spire, a new sort of organic stone. It is only several hours to the east. The greatest danger that you should face, perhaps the rain and the steep path.
rain,
Okay.
steep paths. Well, as long as we don't go touching any stones, we should be fine.
The journey was totally uneventful.
Right, yeah.
It was long,
Yes.
and you're still here.
Thank you, Harrison. Yep, goodbye. And Helena's gonna grab Ori and push him out ahead of her.
Finish your. Oh.
Push, push, push.
You can see it's like so much food. There's no way he's going to eat it all, but he just kind of like finishes and just gives you a little wave as you're pulled away. So no problem. You make your way back out into the street.
And as soon as they get out of the street and out of earshot, Alina turns to Galena and is like, well, I don't think that's fair at all. He told us to come back here. He gave us 3 days. I mean, we did exactly what he said to do.
That's what happens when you deal with middle management.
I'm getting the impression that it doesn't really matter what we do. So let's just do our best.
I like that attitude. Yes,
We can bypass it altogether and just go get something to eat.
I like that attitude as well. So, breakfast?
Yeah.
Breakfast.
Let's go.
Breakfast.
All right. So no problem. You guys can find breakfast without any real issue. In fact, if you want to go back to the Wincing Manticore, Crispy will make you breakfast
Yay.
as long as you are on your way. Oops, hang on 1 second here. All right. So as you eat a very, very mundane breakfast of slightly stale bread, butter, and maybe some very, very brown half apples, what are you all planning to do?
Make our way towards Hopewell.
Okay.
So we have one horse.
Try to bury my horse meat in a undisclosed location.
Why is that how you chose to say that?
So, I mean, that's what I'm doing.
Well, we're in a city. What should we do? I know. Bury horse.
No, I mean like when we get out of the
A
city.
city made
On
of
the
emerald.
road, when we have a
like
point
on the
where
way.
we're stopping to rest, I'll like find a little, outcropping and dig a little hole and just bury the horse.
Very respectfully. Yeah, okay, no problem.
Well, if speed's an issue, do we get more horses? Do we just walk faster?
So I
I don't
spent
think there's a way to walk faster and really
all
make up
my
the time.
money.
Billy
Most.
looks for Crispy and says, "Hey, is there like an alchemist or something on the way out?"
An alchemist on the way out. I think. Sorry about that. I think you would need to go deeper into the spire to find that. But you're going to Hopewell.
Yeah,
There is a remarkable alchemist there, I hear.
Right, but
Do you know
we
what
can
their-
probably hold out till then.
Grand.
Do you know what their name is?
Yes, they are very simply the Hopewell Apothecary.
Easy.
Somewhere that might be looking for some quality metal.
a horse meat.
Unload.
Well, I would imagine if it is the kind of metal that you don't want people looking too closely at, there is a place from Dominion that has passed and opened up a new store there, I hear, called Stain Enterprises General Store.
Okay.
Well, this is really more for like repurposing purposes.
I haven't been there myself, but you could try Warren's Press. Sort of a blend of new and old technology. Something called artificing.
We'll stop there.
Do you need anything from Hopewell, Crispy?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Is there anything else we needed?
Alina is literally just sulking in the corner.
No
We
problem.
have food, supplies. The remaining horse.
Not like it's going to matter, because we'll go and do a good job, and then we'll just get yelled at.
Have things ready for when we get back. All right. I got you next time.
Are you saying this just like out loud in this
Yeah.
bar? Okay. Crispy's gonna turn and he's gonna go, Heresome's got you down, huh?
Someone's a little
You
bit
should
salty.
give her a breath of fresh air. Oh,
I mean,
no.
I'm just saying, we did exactly what he told us to do.
Well, the thing about Hearsome is he doesn't really like people from this plane unless they've proved that they're different than most. You must understand.
Competent is the word.
From the Feywild?
Gonna
I mean, we're
use.
still alive.
That's true. Yeah. That's really all you can hope for.
Yeah,
That's really
All
still
we're aiming for is just alive.
still alive and
That's a good
empty-handed is
thing.
kind of
Okay, Crispy. Let's say someone, I mean, in your experience,
bow.
let's say someone really wanted to prove themselves.
Hey, where's my
What would they
dog
do?
gun?
I think you lost it.
You could see his eyes dart over to Art for a second, but then back to you. And you said sorry.
I said, let's say someone really wanted to prove themselves. What would they do?
Well, you're going to Hopewell. What are you doing there?
We're gonna go meet with an orc who's going to present herself.
We're going to Petrichor by way of Hopewell.
Okay, so you're going there for a ride. Whatever you're doing, do it quickly, and if you can, with a bit of flair. And
Flare, we've gotten fireworks.
he points and she says, "This one knows what I'm talking about. And look, the presentation." And he points and like the clothes, very ostentatious, very pink. And he says, "This is more what look at you." And he says, "You have like various different like kind of studded leather and armor, and Billy especially like." It's almost like when you look at Billy's armor, it's brand new, but there is an element to it that already looks a little bit dirty. And like all of you, especially Ori, who, despite the fact that you feel okay, your clothing is like a little bit ragged and, you know, you definitely slept in a weird position. But he sort of turns and just says, "It's just that you don't look very presentable as a group.
I'll see.
Pizzazz!
Let's
Start
like
throwing dancing
matching
lights.
uniform.
You said we need a uniform.
I'm not.
I just think you need to be on the lookout for something better.
I always
it up.
look for something. You know,
Get a
having
little saucy.
funds is very helpful for that kind of thing.
Billy like casts minor illusion and then copies Cheshire's outfit onto Ori.
See? Upgrade.
That's not what I meant, but yes.
I'm not sure pink's his color though.
It does kind of walk
Just like a sound every time it happens, yeah.
All right, well, keep it up, I guess.
It's not really a concentration spell. It's gonna die off.
Oh,
Just goes
Okay, so,
I already spent all my money on all these fineries. So.
well, we
No,
know.
no, I got you. I'm pulling my disguise kit.
Okay, well, thanks, Crispy.
We're about to be traveling. Maybe not right now.
Just clean up
like-
when we get there.
I can walk and go. It's pretty big.
All right, well,
little foundation on the cheeks. No problem. You can walk and you can make up.
it's really, it's not helpful.
I wish
Oh, that hit me in the eye.
Make a performance check.
Walk with me.
You begin to walk. Is there anything else that you would all like to do within the spire before setting up?
Or sulking.
How far is the travel to Hopewell?
You don't know.
Crispy,
He told us it was several hours.
several hours.
We do
All right.
know.
East?
All right.
25.
25. With the 25, you make Ori look so beautiful. You do a little contouring. You know, there's like.
Slightly overarch the eyebrows.
Okay, so this is gonna. You're going for like a divine. Okay, so it's like bright cheeks. The lips you over exaggerate, and then you use liner to make them feel more fuller than they really are. More full than they really are. You do like heavy arched eyebrows. You in the disguise can have fake earrings, so you give them some big hoops. Ori looks great. So, no problem. That happens. That is, so over the course of this journey, you guys are going to head to the east, exiting the Emerald Spire to the south. You have to wrap around a little ways. None of you have been to Hopewell before. And so you know...
Passing that shop on the way by.
Which one?
The one started with a W.
Oh, that's in Hopewell.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll hit there.
Wentworth? What was it called?
So you know the way that the Emerald Spire is situated, it's up on a series of cliffs, and then to get to Hopewell, you'll need to wrap a little bit to the north by about an hour and then begin to descend. And as you do, it is going to be, it's a path, but it's relatively steep. That is probably the most dangerous thing that you'll face, you would imagine.
And where is Petrichor in relation to Hopewell? Like, is Hopewell on the way?
Far south. In fact,
So we're
when
going,
we're
like,
in
boop,
break. When
and
we're
then
in
all-
break, I should have brought it down. I'll bring the map.
Okay.
It's not quite done, but it's almost done.
So, like, I guess my real question is, based on what we know of, like, the continent, does it make sense that we're going to Hopewell and then all the way down?
So yes, absolutely. So Alina, what I will say is you are familiar with Petrichor because it is a little bit to the south of where you're from. Give me 1 second here. I have this information. Okay, so you would know that Thornholm is about 6 days north from Petrichor. So Petrichor is pretty far south. By foot, it would take you guys probably about 2 weeks to get there. Going by ocean is certainly the faster way. Petrichor has a port, and so you can just go straight there, presumably. You would remember that,
It moves with the rain, right?
so you can only access it when it's
Right.
raining. You would, yeah. And with that, I would say you've never really like sailed before, and so you don't know how long that will take or anything like that. But yeah, this makes sense. It's an hour diversion north to then wrap around and head towards Hopewell.
Thanks.
So you begin to walk, and as you do, who is guiding your party on this journey? It cannot be Cheshire or Ori because they are very busy. All right, Billy, make a survival check.
I just can't. It's gonna get muffed.
Guidance.
Guidance! That's a D4.
Yes, but we're getting on the
Very
road.
nice.
It's gonna,
I can remember things.
you're gonna have to do it again when we get there.
It's not going to be flat on the road.
Who's riding the horse if this is happening?
The horse is just like, nobody's riding the horse.
I'm just like leading the horse.
There's so much math now. 26.
Oh, 26. Okay. Nice. With a 26, one second here.
Make that so impressive. Very impressive.
Okay. So with the 26, let me change the music for your travel here. As you exit and walk out, it is overcast. It's not raining as it was when you entered. However, it is quite muggy. And so as you are walking, it's probably about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And the humidity is such that as you begin to walk, after the first 30 minutes, most of you are beginning to sweat. You, Minka, you feel pretty okay.
Spit monkey out.
That's accurate.
Flavor.
Okay.
Do you want some of?
Is my makeup running?
You look good, Callie. Come on.
So you walk. And
Donuts
as
from
you
an
do,
unnamed store.
Billy, you keep a very sharp eye out. Having already seen what happens when you allow your party members to wander off, you keep an especially close eye at first on Ori, but you see that Ori is pretty busy. And so you really focus on Minka. And anytime that it looks like Minka is beginning to kind of like look at something, you sort of, or like do something to catch the attention. And you're able to shepherd her into the path for the most part.
Oh, they're shining.
Ori, as you go, you notice that mosquitoes begin to pick up. And every now and then, you begin to just hear the high-pitched whine and buzz as they get, near your ears. And then you feel a sting, and then another. And at first, that's very distracting. You swat at it, and you go to swat again. Cheshire, you go to dab a last eyebrow onto Ori, you've erased it twice to make it just a little higher each time. And as you do, you like turn around, you get a little bit more, and you turn. Gone is Ori. And you look down, and in Ori's place now, as 3 hours have passed, there is a brown cow wearing makeup all across its face.
Oh my god.
Is excellent.
And suddenly, all these comments that history has made throughout the morning seem to have a little bit more relevance. Ori, you are polymorphed for the next 16 hours.
16 hours.
As a cow. This follows all of the normal prerequisites of polymorph, with the exception of the duration.
Wow. So I have
Oh, this is
all the stats.
You got close to not. You got close to not failing this.
I almost won. I almost beat him. I almost got him.
Billy's
I'll get him next time.
teeth get real pointy as she grins widely.
Turning around now, one by one, you notice that no longer is there an Ori, but wearing a little staff on its back and a full face of makeup, there is a brown cow.
Oh my gosh, is it the little fluffy brown cows like in the...
It is now. You can see like the big fringe over its eyes, and you have like the eyebrows are going through the fringe and like moving it as he blinks.
Kara loves this.
Billy loves this for different reasons.
Your mental stats take that of a 5th edition cow. Cool. And you are that until this spell ends or until 16 hours elapse.
Look this up.
Do we
Look up my new stats.
understand what we're seeing? Like, do we know that it's a polymorph spell?
brilliant.
I would say as you turn and look, you see like the staff, you see the makeup that was just on Ori a second ago. Putting one to one together, yeah, pretty clear.
I'd just like to point out, my last campaign character was built for polymorphing. Never did it once.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Was 7 sessions in? Polymorph.
Yep.
At this point,
Alina's just gonna.
taking the staff.
No, you just slide the staff right off.
Do you think you should? I don't care.
It's for safekeeping. He's a cow.
Alina's gonna pull out her new rope and just be like, well, okay, and she's gonna give him a little leash.
No problem. You give a little leash to Ori, and now you take the reins of both the horse and the cow.
All right. I'm going to hand the horse reins to Billy.
So, warlocks, you now have all the livestock of your party.
While everyone's getting Ori associated, I'm going to try to find... I want to find a nice-sized piece of wood that I can carry.
Okay.
And ideally one that, like, looks nice and isn't, like, completely, like, a gross stick.
Make a nature check.
This is a 18? No.
A 16.
16.
Yep.
So all around you, the landscape here is a little different than what you had seen to the south. It is raining, and the bugs are picking up, and now even you feel the sting. Ori, in your cow form, through the haze of a intelligence score, I believe, of 2, you struggle to understand why, but every now and then, as a little light rain begins to fall, one of the raindrops will just seem to sting you. And luckily, you have this weird thing that just seems to swat out of your butt and hit them.
Nice.
But it is definitely beginning to become a little bit more annoying. Alina, your tail begins to also sort of swat absently at these as they begin to bother you. They seem to look and kind of go mostly towards your haunches, but you hear them in your ears and they do get on your face from time to time. Cheshire, as you inhale, sort of like getting ready to put a little more makeup on, you hear this right into your mouth, and for a quick second, you cough it out and you're fine. Minka, unlike the Heliodor forest, this is not like a glistening forest full of gems. This is a little bit more muggy, and the rocks that you do see here are metamorphic in nature, and the trees that you see are relatively mundane. You're seeing a lot of things that are like fairly gnarled, and also a lot of trees that are not especially large. So the fallen things that you're finding are really like brush. But after a little bit of walking, I would say, like, especially because you're not really doing anything else, you could find a piece of, you could find a nice, like, chunk of fallen wood.
Okay.
It's not the best, but it's there.
Okay. I mean,
Minka, do you want to ride the horse? We all rode it last
Do I have
time.
the charge ability?
Yeah, you are literally a 5-year-old.
Oh,
Cow Ori.
Yay.
Or cow, sorry.
sure.
Howdy.
Protect Cow Ori at all costs.
Billy helps Minka get on the horse.
Cow Ori.
I don't know if I've ever ridden a horse
So you
before.
boost Minka up onto the horse.
Well, you've been a horse. I can't imagine it'd be much different.
It's much different. You're high up off the ground. Before you had extra feet. Now you don't even have 2. You're completely off the ground, and so a little bit different. But
Billy kind of leans down to Alina and says, "This way we'll keep her on track."
Yeah, I can't say I'm too upset about this one either.
No.
This is the best day.
continue on. Is there anything else that you guys are doing? For the most part, Billy, you're mostly noticing just these insects, but interestingly enough for you, you don't get a single bite. And though you hear the sort of buzzes and you can see the swat of tails and various things, you never really feel the itch of these insects. They seem, for the most part, to avoid you.
Now that Ori is a cow and I've as much fun as I can to him, Cheshire's going to pull out her pipes and just play a little ditty while we walk.
Okay, no problem.
If no one needs
I
anything
will
from
sing
Mika,
for you.
she's just gonna take the stick she found and start practicing different like shapes of like druid crafted jewelry to try to start replacing the bits and pieces she's lost from the acid.
So yeah, every now and then you grow like a branch really quickly, and then you wind them around, and it's not quite right, and so you just kind of like break that part off and another little branch, and over time you begin to druid craft some jewelry. That's easy. You don't need to roll for that. You continue on for like half an hour. It begins to get a little bit brighter as you rise in elevation. It seems to almost create a lesser dappling from this astral eclipse that lends Everest its unique ever dusk to ever dawn skies. There is almost no breeze as you get up to this point. You okay over there?
I'm just thinking about cow ordering.
It is nearly no breeze up here, and so it does feel especially hot in this muggy wind, or this muggy air, sorry. However, it is about an hour into this journey that you reach the edge of the woods, and you see beyond this there is just cliffs. And beyond that, the clouds sort of shade elements of the Emerald Expanse, but maybe a few miles off, you can see where the clouds end. And very, very distantly, the edge of this sort of astral eclipse, you can see bright sunshine that is falling on these sparkling emerald waters, like just on the horizon. You also see a number of ships that are sailing across the sea at this time. There are many seabirds that are crowded onto the cliffs because it is overcast and kind of threatening terrain. But you see the path descend and wind amongst these stones, and it is quite steep. There are parts where you probably could risk falling down, but looking, there are no wet gray stones. There is nothing that looks immediately threatening here.
Are we there yet?
Go ahead and make a survival check as you pick your way down this path. And for everybody, at advantage, please make an athletics check.
Including me?
With your cow athletics.
Yeah, absolutely. You have people helping guide you.
Cowletics.
And this advantage is coming from Billy, kind of guiding you down with the initial roll.
18 survival check.
Excellent.
What is
Acrobatics instead?
This is athletics. It really is kind of like rock climbing.
That's fine.
18?
13.
Okay.
17.
Okay.
Right?
Rock climbing with my ibex hoods.
18.
We decided
18, okay.
that I have ibex hoods.
14.
13.
13. This is a steep cliff, and there are places where the igneous stone cracks and crumbles, and so it's you would find easy to fall away. Even you, Alina, with your hooves, this is smooth rock. But all of you have survived much worse. You've survived wet gray stones, and those are the worst kind. And so this is relatively easy. Over the course of about an hour, you pick your way down this cliff without any real issue. Really, the biggest issue is that it is really humid and you're getting bit by bugs. But as you reach kind of the bottom part of this,
Mostly
and you
bit
feel
by bugs.
mostly hit by bugs, you feel the ocean wind begin to hit you, and you are now on much sandier soil. The bugs seem to be alleviated a little bit by that wind, and you are now in an area where there is tall grass, low dunes, and every now and then you can see breaking up this expanse. There's like a black cherry tree. Very young cherries in this time of year.
I'm eating those cherries. Can I reach them?
Yeah, no problem. You grab one, you bite into it. It's like bordering on green, and so it's quite bitter. But as a cow, you're happy as hell. You get the lowest ones. There's a few that have like been blown off the tree, and you eat those. No problem. The rest of you.
I'm just letting him do it. I don't care. I ain't care. Just pat. Oh yeah. Pat.
For the rest of you, though it is still a little overcast, it's a relatively nice walk. You're walking through tall grass, the occasional tree with little white blooms and small green cherries that Ori continues to eat. And for the most part...
Are we there yet?
For the most part, you are just inundated with "Are you there yet?" And over the course of it, like only about a half an hour, you begin to see structures in the distance. Although these structures, this is more construction zone than city. As you get closer and begin to arrive near the limits, Hopewell is the alternative future to the Emerald Spire. This is a place that is, you can see four corners, these tall monoliths of sleek gray stone that have been worked about 300 feet apart, and each hums, and as you get a little bit closer you can hear it, and the bugs after a certain point, as you begin to hear it a little bit louder, are non-existent. This seems to almost steer them away, but you can hear this hum of power that seeps into the stones, and then through the stones you can see in the soil there are glowing ley lines of enchantments that seem to connect between these 4 points. And in the center of these you can see there is a single slowly spinning like I just said this word, a dodecahedron of polished marble. It must have been on the mind. Of polished marble that slowly spins in place at the center of these 4 monoliths. There are off a little bit to a little bit beyond that, orderly rows of square marble structures that form what you would imagine is a town, although it's quite small. There's only a few dozen total, and they're all situated on a spacious plot of land that has a whole variety of bright plants, creeping vines, fruit trees, things like that are organized along 4 tiers of ledges, like steps down to the shore of the Emerald Expanse, which is about 80 feet beyond the lowest tier. And so, if you wish, you can walk past the past the actual construction zone. Is there anything that you want to do before entering the town proper with this
Is there
cow?
any good-looking vegetation around?
There's grass all over the place.
Fucking go and eat some fucking grass, boy!
Absolutely. Give him here.
No. Look, I know he's
I'm
annoying,
starting
but
to
he's our
walk
friend,
towards
and
the nicest looking grass.
I know.
As you're like fighting for Ori's help, Ori's tugging against you, trying to get at some grass. It's just a little bit off the path.
Okay, does anybody know, I mean, it has been very funny, I know, but does anyone know how to dispel this?
No.
Nope.
You can't sell him.
But it would be so amusing.
He would
You
wake
know
up in a
what
stall.
else would be amusing?
Wake up in a stall and they'd be so confused and it would be the best
Don't
day
you
ever.
want to see him wake up from being a cow?
In a stall.
In a stall.
Okay, not happening. Let's.
With the makeup still. Look at this face.
It's very funny. Yes.
Look at this face.
Should we find the orc? I look around. Are there any orcs around?
So as you begin to enter the town limits proper, the first thing that you can see off to your left is the place that had been mentioned by Crispy. You see, this is a larger structure than the others because it accommodates a forge and a sort of large. None of you have seen anything like this. It's a huge metallic contraption within. You can see it looks almost like a mold. I would say. Man, you guys are all from the middle of nowhere. None of you have seen anything like this before.
We are bumpkins.
Yeah, no, it's really funny to think about because they keep being like, oh yeah, who's from a no, nobody.
I'm a cow.
Yeah. So you see in this place there are all kinds of material that line the walls, and within kind of putting things into this huge contraption there is a dragonborn. You see brass scales. They seem to be wearing armor of a Damascus plate mail that features a chest piece that looks very much like a dragon's face that is formed from these plates of polished brass. On their head, you can see a pair of crystal lensed goggles of fine black leather and polished brass fittings. And above all of this shop, you can see a sign of bolted metal that says Warren's Press.
Hold that.
Go on, go shopping. I'll stay here.
Well, it's less. Walk in.
So you go in, you pull out your bag, and as you do, this dragonborn turns to you and they say, "Can I help you?"
Well, theoretically, I have something that might help you, and I'm going to pull out one of the goblin choppers.
Okay. Interesting. And he takes it off your hands. He holds it and kind of bends it. And in his hands, you hear this, and it kind of bends back, and he goes, "Where did you find this?"
Around. It wasn't needed anymore, so it just kind of found its way to me.
What are you looking to have made?
Well, see, I was really looking just to, sell it to you. And its companions and pull out the other 7.
You're not really from around here.
No.
I am Warren the Shaper. I can take anything and create armor or weapons or furniture, I suppose.
I really don't have any use for furniture, so, How about instruments? Do you make instruments?
Make a persuasion check.
That is 14.
So close. No.
Disappointing.
Am I in there?
No.
No, we're waiting outside.
Here.
Oh, only service animals inside.
I need a service animal.
Hey, any of you need anything?
Like what?
Weapons, armor, furniture?
I don't think we can bring furniture around.
I think I'm okay. I just
Are you all just like leaning in the door?
We're kind of make like throwing daggers.
Yes, I've made those.
I mean, if no one else wants anything.
What are you?
First of all, rude. Second of all,
I mean, all of you.
a little strange, I know, but
I'm a cow.
We're an adventuring party. We've got a mission.
He nods a little bit at this and he says, then we might work together.
Billy flashes the signet.
Heresomes.
loosely.
Is that a good or a bad
If you can find things that are exceptional for a steep discount, I can make something for you. This press, and he turns to this huge machine, and you can see it's almost like a crucible. And in the middle, there are various things, like little scraps of different kinds of metal thrown in right now. And you can see there is copper wire and there's crushed powder, all different kinds of elements that have been sort of formed. And the shape of this at the moment is that of some kind of a long blade. But he turns and he says, this is an artificing press of my own design. Depending on the nature of what you bring, we can work different enchantments into the material itself.
like metals?
It's
Natural
shush.
stuff? Anything? Metal stuff?
How much you want for all
Wait, I
those
said party.
daggers?
Magic stuff?
Most things.
Reasonable fair market value.
Most things.
Alina's
Which
gonna
is-
pipe up at this point and be like,
Horse
he's
meat?
usually a person, not a cow.
He turns down to the cow.
I'm
He
probably like
looks-
outside, still munching on some fucking grass.
I feel like the
I
rope
mean,
is
I would have
taut.
tied him off,
I
yeah.
feel like the rope is taut. You're holding it, and it goes out through
Yeah,
the door.
yeah.
And Ori's like gotten most of the way in, but he's just shooting at the grass. And the dragonborn looks at him. There's makeup all over him,
Yeah.
and he says, "I believe you.
Victim of multiple practical jokes, I'm afraid.
Why?"
We don't know why he's a cow.
His own doing, really. He probably does.
He's just the kind of person people like to fuck with. You know?
This cow just like rolls its eyes a little bit, and he says, "Well, that's unsettling."
Billy pulls out her rapier and
You
says,
should see him before the makeup.
I know you said you don't make instruments, but is there any way you could make this sing a little bit when it slashes the air? Something that might sound like a song if you thought real hard.
Well, that's possible. I would need components that sing. There are reverberating crystals that might do the trick. The throat of a harpy might also work.
We've got a cow.
Can't have the cow.
If you wish.
Buzzkill.
The horse meat is currently polymorphed into your form.
He takes out like a dagger and he says,
Also
I
part
could
horse.
make your rapier sound like the cow.
No, that's...
Please don't kill the
No.
cow.
When you say practical joke, how is he a cow?
Well, I'm not sure. Cheshire, what exactly happened last night?
Well, he and Crispy went around the seasons. And I believe it around fall time, in the autumnal air, that our dear friend lost his sobriety.
Would Alina and Billy know about this drinking game?
Make a make a history check. And I would say
That's a good call.
I would say each of you can make it an advantage.
I was gonna say.
This is a game that originates, and 2 of the spirits originate from the Feywild.
History, you said?
Yes.
I got an 8 with advantage. That's
Never heard
upsetting.
of it. Mysterious.
17.
Okay. With a 17, yes, you've heard of Winter's Kiss. This is a spirit that you can, it has some peculiar properties. It comes from a place that is right on the border of the Summer Court and Winter Court's territory within the Feywild, which does change. And so there are times where this place just doesn't exist. So it's fairly hard to get depending on like the state of affairs in the Feywild. But this is a material that you can elongate spells with. And so realistically, you can infuse different things into this. It doesn't have to be, but it is likely polymorph.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, best of luck.
We'll figure it out. So you're looking for just
Gotta
components?
wear off eventually,
Just
right?
stuff? Strange stuff?
While they're talking to him now, I want to sneakily make my way out and go collect Ori and see if I can make a way.
I am holding on to the rope.
You're out. He's outside.
I
I
mean,
will say, make a sleight of hand check and make a perception check.
Something like dangle it that's tastier than grass in front of me, and I'll start tugging.
can I have advantage because I know she wants to go sell Ori?
No, but it's a really high DC already, and that's like with your perception check is
What
really
are
to
you
add to it.
enticing
So,
me with here?
8.
okay.
God damn it.
Whatever you're
Was that-
putting in front is
I
some super
tried.
tasty.
There's a
This is
moment.
what gets us Gunter back in the party.
So there's a moment where you do feel like a tug, and you look over and you just see Ori like trying to grab some grass. You're like, whatever. But realistically, this is you behind the wall. You have a big tuft of grass in your hands, and you're like pulling it away, and it's really Ori trying to get at that. And then the second that you see Alina look back away, you unhitch Ori and you tie it to the side of this house, really making it so that it's still taut, and you just lead Ori away. No problem.
Oh,
God fucking damn
I'll
it.
keep that in mind. I'll keep my eye out for some interesting components. Give you something fun to work with.
This art is one that is almost lost, and there are parts that I wish to rediscover. Different interesting materials can add to my knowledge. And so we
Anything
can
in
help each other.
particular?
At the moment, where are you going? You're adventurers.
Petrichor.
Petrichor. Perhaps. In Petrichor, there is a harbor on the way. If you are here, I imagine you are going by ship.
Most likely.
We will pass through this very place. There are creatures that are not from our plane. They're from an elemental place. If you could capture some of this material, I would be much appreciative.
You got it.
Minka. I mean, not Minka.
Wait.
Sorry.
What creatures? Wait, we need more information.
Cheshire. Cheshire. You lead Ori away and into town, and as you do, you pass a couple of different things. You pass the Hopewell Apothecary. You can see a plump Harengon that is currently working with some different herbs within. You pass by Stain Industries General Store, which is you may have heard of Stain Industries, especially with your flair for fashion. Stain Industries about 30 years ago came out with the nicest pair of pants that have ever, Stain pants, that have ever come out of Dominion. And as they expanded their empire, they've actually launched this new general store across the Emerald Expanse as their first store in Everest. And you can see there is a couple of gnomes who are working there, along with a single bugbear. And then you see the Hopewell zoning office. You see a tavern that is called the Breathe Inn, and you'd actually heard about this place. It is closest down to the water, and it features a couple decks that just overlook the ocean. Very nice. And then there's a shop that just simply has a little signpost that hangs out of the door, and then dangling from it is a big glass jar with what looks like a pickled newt that floats within. and it does seem to be lit with a little bit of magic from within, like a light spell has been cast on this pickled newt. Nice little lantern outside.
When we're far enough away from where they are so they can't, like, hear me, I'm going to climb up on Ori's back.
Okay.
Like, urge him forward still, so we're riding into the center of town.
Charge!
No problem.
Complete with, you know, fireworks and lights and performance.
This is a performance sound. It's just a womp womp. Yeah, no problem.
Marvelous Raven's Menagerie has come to town!
So the fireworks go off. There are a few people that do turn. There's some polite claps. This is a not terribly busy place, and the people who are here, you can see, all seem to be of a particular ilk. There's a lot of elves here, but you do see a little bit more of a diverse crowd. Not as many. You see a tiefling. You've already seen this dragonborn, a herongon. There are a few humans walking here and there. Are you looking for anything in particular?
A large open space where it seems like the most people will see us.
Oh, well, just beyond the breathe in, there are the wharfs, and that is just a big open dock. And at the moment, that is where there is the most traffic. You can see there's a number of ships that are in 3 or 4. And actually, for what it's worth, on the deck of one of them, you can see an orc from this distance. However, just before the actual ships themselves, there is a wide, broad, less of a dock and more of like a boardwalk where things are being loaded and unloaded, and there are a lot of people there. There are like sailors from the ships that are just kind of loitering. There are people unloading things. That would probably be a good place.
Perfect. I'm gonna go there and set up shop and incorporate Ori into the act.
Fantastic. So, a song and dance begins. We'll get back to that. For the rest of you, you exit the shop.
Wait, does he tell us, like, the creatures that he wants us to...
Are you going to ask him?
I mean, if Billy doesn't, then yes. Okay, so...
Say, gonna cut all of them.
The creatures that you need, what are they called?
I don't know, but they are like water.
We'll do our best to find them.
Any particular part, like skin, eyes?
From what I hear, it's mostly the same stuff throughout.
Some sort of slime.
Maybe we're gonna need more vials then.
Probably.
Do you sell vials?
I don't, but you could try the apothecary.
We'll head up there anyway.
Well, thank you. Looking forward to many more business interactions.
We'll be back. Bye.
And then Alina walks out the shop.
No problem. There's like this heavy expectation that there's going to be at least one more word, and then the party turns and leaves. And yeah, seems to be on brand. So you guys go into the apothecary next?
Well, first Alina's going to wonder where the cow and Cheshire are.
Turning to exit.
Oh yeah, right. So as you leave this place, you're like, "Come on, Ori," and it just as it's taut because it is just pulling against a wall, and you can see the knot has very much like a heart shape to it when the loops come out, and you would imagine probably Cheshire.
She's gonna sell that cow.
Do we mind?
I don't think it's a good look. But, I mean, what do I know? I mean, I thought we were doing exactly what we were supposed to, and then so maybe Herson wants us to sell
Off
our
in the
cow
distance,
friend.
you just hear fireworks going off. And looking over, you can see at the moment. First of all, make as a using the cow's stats at advantage with the help of your friend. Go ahead and make an acrobatics check.
Cow acrobatics.
Cowrie is making a cowcrobatics check.
Yes.
Cow.
Holy shit!
Acrobatics.
Did you get a natural 20?
Woo!
Look at that.
Solid.
I got a 19 and an 18.
Nice. Damn. So at this moment, you can see as the fireworks go off every now and then, you can hear the slow, like kind of flute that goes faster and then slow and then fast and then slow. You see fireworks. You see Ori, still a cow, on the two back legs, balanced on a round stone, taking the place of a ball. And you can see slowly it's going back and forth. And there are people like laughing and clapping. And now you do have the sailors' attention. There are like little coins, a couple copper pieces hit the ground. A fish hits the ground, like all kinds of things.
He's fine. She's keeping him entertained.
And I'm like untying the rope and coiling it back up and walking. And this has been somehow, Alina didn't think that a day could be worse than yesterday, but this day is so much worse. And she's just so cranky and she walks off, tail swishing irritably. And she's like, she just stalks over to where the crowd has gathered.
No problem.
Billy feels a little bad.
Fair enough.
But
Reaction.
goes to the apothecary. Business.
So you see Elena stalk off, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit, and you head in a different direction. What are you doing, Minka?
So, I'm also going to go to the apothecary to get more vials, because it sounds like more and more things need to be collected in them. So it's just like, we should just get a bunch. They're gonna break. We never know what's gonna happen. This one already borrowed, so we gotta stock up.
Yeah, I'd like that back.
Well, it still has the goo in it.
Minus the goo. We can give the goo to somebody. Maybe we can give it to that, like...
Well, I was just holding on to it because we might be able to use it to find Direcroak when we get closer to him.
That's actually a good idea.
And then, it's a vial of weird poison. It's with the amount of things we've stabbed, it might come in handy at some point.
Yeah. Look at that. Billy, like, it's like, I think it's great.
Fantastic. So you walk over to the apothecary. No problem. And walking in, you can see this female herongon, like a humanoid rabbit hybrid. You can see this individual, gray fur, clad in a hooded gray shawl with 6 or 7 colorful hand-embroidered patches across the chest and sleeves. You see she turns to you, and all around this place there are herbs that are dried and in various stages up around the ceiling of that process. In here, amongst the herbs, you also smell smoke, and it is smoky in here, so there is like a process of drying, and it's a little warmer in here. But as you approach, she turns to you, and she just says, "Welcome to the Hopewell Apothecary. What can I get for you?"
Well, we have a habit of shuffling off this mortal coil a few times, and we'd like to do that less.
So you're looking for health potions?
That'd be great.
And herbs that can make them, ideally.
On the fly, not, just...
We can do that.
Okay. And vials.
Vials. How many?
How many are a good amount of vials, Billy?
Billy kind of looks at her and is like, well, I got 9, 10. How many can you carry?
Figures like 1, 2.
She's like looking through her pockets to
How
be
many
like,
can your herbalism kit contain?
Oh, that's probably the better question.
Jenna opens up it and looks in.
I mean, it's not like a set amount that you could keep in here, but given the size of this like little pouch, you could probably like tuck 1 or 2 in there. It's really not meant for holding completed potions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Billy
maybe we should
kind
get a
of...
bag and
Yeah.
put them in.
We get like 10 glass vials. Do you also have like 1 leaded one just in case there's like acidic stuff?
I don't have a leaded vial, but I do have something for acid.
Okay. That. Healing potions. Herbs.
What kind of healing potion?
It's just standard, basic,
Ones that'll keep us from immediately dying.
And how many would you like?
We're on a mild budget. What's one of these go for here?
40 pieces of gold. Although if you would like to buy 5, I can throw in a bag for you and...
Maybe we'll just keep dying and stick with the piles.
Ooh, yeah.
We'll come back when we're richer.
Not if you die.
Well, if we're dead, then that was kind of a moot point anyway.
Yeah. That's why I buy the potion personally. But if you want the components, I can give you those for cheaper.
How much cheaper?
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
She goes back. First of all, you want how many vials? You said 10?
10?
Okay.
If we could.
I think glass vials are dumb expensive.
Are they?
So what I'm gonna say is, glass is like not super common in Everest, though much more common than Dominion because it's in proximity to Gath, which is the largest producer of glass in Alberon. However, also not relevant in any way.
Except for right now.
Yeah,
Take cheaper vials. You have like wood corks.
I'm gonna say you can get vials for 2 copper pieces each. I will say too, the potion price I'm giving you guys is a discount from what's listed in the player handbook.
We just are really
I
terrible
know,
managers
yeah.
for money.
Early levels are tough.
I bought a dart gun and it got stolen.
It didn't get stolen.
That's
I
their
got
only
one
50.
in a game of fair chance.
So you want 10 of these?
Then he turned you into a cow, so I feel like swings and roundabouts
Copper
here.
each at 10. So it's 20 copper. It's 2
I
silver.
got it.
Okay, no problem. So you can add 10 vials to your inventory.
Okay. And then the herbs?
Oh, and for the herbs, I can get you about a pound of these herbs, which should, if you are skilled at this, you should yield about 4 of these potions.
Okay. How
And I
much
can
is
give that to you for 10 gold pieces.
10. Okay, I have 5. Split
Billy
6.
Billy takes out her coin pouch and hands over the 10 gold.
Okay. Takes that and says, and let me give you a bag, please. And goes and takes out like a canvas sort of bag that's like a little bit nicer than like a something that would be like disposable essentially, and like packages everything up for you.
Okay. Cool. And at this point, fucking real gold pieces. What happened to bartering? Are you?
Well, do you have anything to barter? I'd be happy to do that.
No.
I'm particularly interested in things that have to do with language.
Language.
Yes.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind because we're gonna be back over here. We were just talking to Warren, and he was asking us to get like water elemental stuff. So we can definitely back language stuff. Okay, we can do this.
That would be fantastic. I actually do not know anything about any of the elemental languages.
Elemental languages. Okay, so that's a big theme today. Elemental. Okay. Anything else? We're going to Petrichor. Do you need anything from Petrichor?
Oh, well, there are all kinds of plants that are native to Petrichor, but if you stay there long enough, you could go to the Feywild, and there's endless numbers of ingredients there. If you find anything interesting, I would, of course, be very interested.
Okay. And then Minka's just kind of like look around in her person to see if she has anything to write on, which she probably doesn't at this point. Just says, I'm sure I'll remember that. Okay.
She looks you up and down for a second, and she goes, "What are you looking for?"
I mean, in general?
Right now, as you like search your person.
Oh, at some point I had parchment on me, but I think I lost it somewhere on the road.
You misplace things a lot, don't you?
Maybe.
Just a moment. And she kind of walks and half hops a little bit over to like behind the counter. She rifles through a couple things, and she comes back with a couple sheets of parchment. And there's like a little hole poke through, and she ties some string to it, and then she just ties it to your wrist. That's 5 pieces of rough parchment, and she says, "That way you won't lose it."
Oh, thank you. So pure.
It seems like you've had a rough time recently.
Is it that obvious?
Yes.
Oh no.
Billy started kind of shuffling away and just was
You
looking
guys have
at
come
some of
in,
the ingredients.
you're like, we're kind of short on funds. You guys came in pretty strong with that impression.
One of us got turned into a cow.
We have a habit of dying. I don't know how I could tell. I'm just very insightful.
Oh my. Okay,
DC
so
was
we'll
5.
come back with hopefully language stuff for you, maybe some cool plants, and hopefully more money. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Do I owe you anything for this?
No. That is because of the difficult times that you're having.
Thanks. I'll walk out.
I'm just kind of fluttering behind you. It's like a very short string, so it's like right at your elbow, kind of fluttering. No problem. So,
Bella's like,
you approach this large crowd. There's cheering, there's laughing, there's fireworks, and there is now, you can see, having reversed his stance on both of his front legs, this cow Ori is balancing on this stone.
Good people, look at this majestic cow.
You can hear somebody in the crowd who's like, we should do a statue. There's like 8 or 9 people now that have really gathered around, and this is an enjoyable show for everybody, you can tell. Ori is very much a clown, wearing like makeup, balancing on a ball and a cow.
Cloud.
a cow.
Cown is the word you're looking for.
Well, far be it from Alina to disrupt a show, so she's just gonna watch. But like she was worried that now that she sees that the cow has not been sold, she relaxes a little bit, and she wants to yell at Cheshire, but she'll wait because she doesn't want to,
No
cause
problem.
a scene.
As you're
Doing
waiting,
my requisite looking for anything shiny and or useful for
make a perception check.
future endeavors.
Alina, as you are like watching this and kind of like annoyed but giving a little bit of distance, you can see behind the wharf there is all manner of different kind of ships and small craft, but there is one larger ship that is kind of present here. This one seems to be stained to like a deep reddish brown hue, and you can see off the side of this there are openings where cannons might go. Although I would say, Alina, we probably haven't even heard of cannons. They're pretty uncommon here. But there are some kinds of like weaponry that you can see definitely for that purpose along the sides. This is probably roughly the size of like a galleon. It's finely crafted. And I would say it is on the deck of this ship that you can see directing some of the work, an orc. You can see maybe like in her 40s, a half orc actually. And she is directing people wearing a little bit nicer clothing than everybody else. You can see sharp gray and green fine wear. Amongst all the group here, this is the only orc that you see. There are some smaller ships that you can see as well. Things that are not quite like rowboat sized, but a little bit larger, like 4 or 5 people on. Many of these, you make a history check.
Yeah. 18.
Okay. You can see what looks like a hand that is holding this wrapped bit of barbed like steel, and there's like a black heart behind it. And you have actually, in your trading with somebody from Petrichor, perhaps heard of this place or this group. This is the Black Heart Exploratory Commission. And this is a group that kind of like a corporate group of adventurers. Like they sponsor groups that go out under this banner and retrieve things. And there's like not a ton known about the brothers who run this. It's way to the east, past Dominion, from this place called the Sunrest Islands. But you see that, you see another flag that is the flag of Dungannon. There's all kinds of different things here. And so this is very much like a port that seems to draw people in from other continents.
That was a 17.
Okay. With a 17, as you look around, a lot of sailors. And so, I mean, you're seeing like a couple of little coin pouches here and there, but nobody who has super nice things. What you do see, however, the ship that Alina is kind of looking at, as you glance back, you can see a miffed-looking Alina who does glance over, and you follow the gaze to this ship. And on the prow of this, and you notice this as well, there is... instead of a figurehead, just like a smooth wooden, I don't know what it's called, but the thing that kind of, the prow. Yeah, smooth wooden prow. But on the deck, give me 1 second here. On the deck, you can see there is a large wooden platform that seems to be hinged. And that is what you see.
Okay, so
Don't worry, everyone. We'll post that on the Instagram.
Matt's notes while he is a cow are just incredible. So Alina, now that Alina's made eye contact with Cheshire, she's gonna be like, "Stay here. I'm gonna talk to the captain."
Big burst of fireworks.
Okay. And Alina has decided that maybe it's better if she goes to make contact with the captain, with the orc, without the rest of these idiots. So Alina's just gonna be like, "Stay here," and then she's gonna go off to try to make the captain's acquaintance.
No problem. All right.
I've decided that canonically the fireworks are originating from my butt.
Okay.
Because I'm on the rock and my hind legs are up in the air.
Do you have access to like minor illusion?
No.
So it's really it's up to Cheshire.
I agree with
Here we go.
I feel like this is a good thing for
People, this
everybody.
beautiful cow, this majestic creature can be yours.
for only 50 gold.
As soon as you walk away, Alina.
God damn it.
starts.
I'm farting fireworks out here.
For 10, that's like 5 times.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Oh god. That's a thing that's happening.
While Minka and Billy are walking to the wharf,
That's a good
can we have
downgrade.
stopped in the breathe in and like purchased a flask of alcohol?
Yeah, no
Some
problem.
like nice wine or something.
Yeah, no problem. You can mark off a single silver piece.
I think you can pay for that one.
It's a me thing. Don't worry.
It's not for you.
It really isn't.
Oh, you shelled out
I
so
don't
much
really want
money
to
today.
Just make me potions and we're good.
Okay.
Alina, you approach this ship, and as you do, you actually notice it is a well-crafted ship, and there's like some staining that's been done to the deck, but it certainly at one point was very, very fine. There's been work done to it over the years, but even the sails, furled though they are silk. You can kind of see this fine material up and catching the light of the very, very dim sun that makes its way through the astral eclipse. Oh, excuse me. You see this half orc is now down actually very close to the gangplank, like right along the side. And so if you want, you can call right up. But what are you doing?
I'm indeed going to call right. What time of day is it? Is it like morning, evening?
It is about 9 a.m. You guys got underway at like 6 in the morning.
That is true. We made good time. Good morning. Hello. Are you Hersam's friend by any chance?
You can see she looks down, and immediately the eyes go to this little badge that you're wearing, presumably. Okay.
I keep forgetting to show people that.
Yeah, I know. I gave it to you guys to really like fast track some of the early conversation stuff,
Nope.
but nope.
Nope.
We like to
not.
talk.
No problem.
Or a moo.
You can see she looks down, these very, very small tusks, and as she opens her mouth, you can see this orc tongue, like almost not like pink, but like a blue shade. And she says to you, "So you're Harrison's group."
Yes, I'm just representing the group right now while they're in town taking care of some errands. I understand you're going to be able to get us to Petrichor.
She squints and looks past your shoulders, and there's like a little fireworks that go off, and you see the cow now is like sort of like standing on the ground and like one leg up, like a dance almost,
Yeah.
Alternating, and then doing a little canter. Is that your group?
Yes, I'm afraid so. The cow should be turning back into a person at some point.
She gazes past this. No, she doesn't realize it either. Nobody knows what's going on. It's just a cow. She puts her hands on her hips, and you can see on the hips she does have a rapier on one and a short sword on the other. She looks down and she says, "Well, can you go gather your group? We are on a schedule. And Hearsome said, you can help me."
I'm sure we can. Yes, absolutely.
She looks past you again and she goes, "We will see."
Great. So I'll round up the group, make sure we get here very, very quickly, and we'd be happy to help you with anything you need. Thank you.
Good. And she turns and she just goes, "We are getting ready to depart. Mr. Crowley. And you can see this other guy who's like way off in the distance kind of looks up, and people begin to move about and get things ready to go. She turns back to you and she says, get your group.
Yes, will do. And your name is?
You may call me Captain Daruk.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Captain. Be right back. And Alina's gonna scurry off with as much dignity as she has left.
Okay, yeah, no problem. So you make your way back. And as you do, you see Billy and you see Minka approaching you. Billy, wine in hand. Minka, a number of new druid-crafted little pieces, and flapping from her wrist is just pieces of parchment.
Billy walks up to Alina and says, just to kind of wash it away a little bit. I know here's some left a sour taste.
Thanks, Billy. Go. It takes a long pull from the bottle. And then she says, all right, I met the captain. She's got a schedule to keep. So can you head to the wharf? It's the big ship, half-orc captain lady. Her name's Captain Daruk. I'm going to go get the cow, and I'll meet you there. But you should head straight there because it seems like they want to get moving. Okay. And then I go get the cow.
Okay.
I'm gonna attempt to just tap Cheshire on the shoulder. Like, Cheshire, we have to go. We'll talk about this later.
Another part of the menagerie has joined us.
Wow. Okay.
Fuck that.
You could see there's a couple confused faces, and there's somebody you could hear a whisper in the crowd in Sylvan. Who speaks Sylvan here? Okay, so 3 of you just hear somebody go, did they really say that? There's a bunch of things. This is a very diverse group, and so maybe an interesting choice of words. But as the crowd begins to murmur, what are you all doing?
I'm mooing.
Yeah, no, you are actively.
Billy's eyebrows are like, whoop.
So are mine. They match.
I thought you can't take stuff with you when you Misty Step, right? It's just you.
It's a you and I believe up to 1 willing creature.
Oh, that's Dimension.
That's Misty Step. I think is just you. I am going to punch Cheshire right in her stupid face, and then assuming that works, take the cow by its scruff, I guess, and just lead it away.
Make an attack roll.
Actively on the.
I'm assuming this is this is a non-lethal unarmed strike.
It's non-lethal.
Am I actively on the rock doing my little dance?
No, you're down at this point, and you're doing a
Actually,
little canter.
instead
so
of a
it's
punch,
just a
I'm going to
canter.
headbutt
Okay,
her.
I thought I was still up on the rock doing the canter.
So it's 18 to hit.
18, yeah, that definitely is.
Pretty impressive.
So as you're good people, another member of the
5
menagerie,
cows.
and you hear somebody say, did she just say that? And then bonk, right in the head. There's this brief moment where you see stars. This satyr reinforced up here, and so that hurts. Yep. That's the same as getting hit with a helmet. And in that brief moment, your grip slackens, and you can grab Ori and take him away. Interestingly, Ori does trot for a little bit after, and then as you pull him a little bit, seems to straighten out.
Yeah. That's 1 point of damage, non-lethal. And I'm gonna say to Cheshire,
Are you doing anything about that, by the way?
it's the crystal.
Yes.
I'm trying to get the grass that is still not where I'm being pulled.
So you're fighting Ori as you do all this.
Ah, damn it.
And as Ori gets close enough with the pipe, casting fly.
Phenomenal.
And we are riding toward the ship.
Yay! So now there is this brief moment where you punch, and there's this brief moment, and you see Cheshire who looks really angry, and then camera smash cut. You are carrying a string that floats up, and the camera pans up, and Cheshire is riding Cow Ori like a balloon
And
animal.
I'm just happily munching away at my grass.
Just chewing on the cud. And that is what happens. This is how you are approaching your next job. So it's amazing. A lot of DMs have to set their parties up to look this ridiculous.
Yeah,
Not me.
We lean into it.
I'm gonna cast Mage Hand to hold the rope and pull it so that I don't have to hold the cow balloon. Just Okay, I know it's not going to do much, but
to take it off.
So there's just, as you guys are going, it's you like, yeah, it's just again hand fighting with different mage hands. It's just two like vaguely luminous magical hands that just begin to like slap and fight each other. Ori floats and just kind of bobs here and there in the wind. Minka, what are you doing while this transpires?
I know Crispy said pizzazz, but this is a lot. Is this normal? Is this what's adventuring supposed to be like?
this is not normal.
We're still firing out of Ori's.
Every now and then.
Is that the right ship at least?
Sorry, are we together now?
Yes,
or,
your whole group is together.
Yes, that's the ship. God. Come on, let's go. Hello,
You drag everybody
Captain.
towards the ship.
Group is here.
People will be back.
Please ignore them.
She looks at all of you, and first of all, actually, it's not the captain. The captain has gone elsewhere, but you can see the person that they had mentioned, Master Crowley, this human, wearing like studded leather armor, very weathered kind of look, square jaw, at one point blonde hair that's kind of become even brighter with the sun, but he looks a little bit incredulously at this whole situation, and then turns and says, "Who is the reasonable one here?"
That would be me, sir.
You're supposed to come aboard and speak to the captain below deck.
Yeah, okay. And I'm gonna hand the room to Billy, and just head on board.
As you all walk, he grabs you by the elbow and kind of like pulls you back from the group a little bit. And he says, "Between you and me, she doesn't like bullshit like this.
That makes two of us.
I would leave them upstairs. Just me."
Yeah.
He turns and kind of walks back and just begins to like talk to other people.
Just stay here, please. God. Okay. I'm gonna follow him down, and on the way, I'm gonna be
He's
like,
not going. He kind of like shows you.
Oh,
where to
okay.
go. He goes back to like directing the crew. They're getting ready and like running rigging and getting ready to depart.
and I'm just like, sorry, and walk down.
Okay. Who is going down with you?
I don't know if I'm gonna make it better or worse.
Is there any enticing smell from down below?
Almost certainly not.
You are still flying.
Yeah.
So I'm just like chilling on my grass in the sky.
As the wind goes by, you know how seagulls sometimes will like go and they're not going anywhere because like it's going. There's a seagull and you just like look over and eye to eye. There's like a and it just peels off into the wind.
Billy's trying to like lower them down to the ground and is fighting with Cheshire's mage hand.
No problem. Minka, are you going?
I think Minka's too distracted by the chaos happening before her and is trying to figure out who she's supposed to be helping in
Billy
this
sees
moment.
Minka and she's like, go.
Okay.
And then I guess Alina looks back and is like, "Are you coming? Come on."
Yeah, okay.
And like the parchment still flapping on her arm as she runs after you.
Down the steps. No problem.
Give it a job.
You make your way down the stairs, and there are two doors, and you can see at one point still broken elements of stained glass around the window, but just
Stained glass,
Yeah.
you say?
but just what looks like metal that kind of forms the different shapes that once held all the rest of the pieces. And through that, you can see this half-orc who's at this huge table. There's a big map sprawled out, and she's currently like plotting a course. But she looks up and, without saying anything, just waves you in.
Again, just trying to muster as much dignity as I can, just walking forward, and I say, "Captain, the group is aboard. There are some problems with them, but I'll get it sorted out, never you fear."
I have had interesting people before. We will figure out something to do with them. Who are you?
Hi, I'm Minka. I'm a druid.
She's part of the group.
That is useful. I will remember this. She turns and kind of looks up from all of her work. What has Hearsome told you about what you are to do to help me?
Actually, he hasn't told us a thing, but
We're paying a favor.
yes, and we're up for any task you have for us.
When you say that, in the darkness here, there's a couple like lanterns that light the place that she can see, and behind her there is actually windows to a little door, and in the back of the ship here there's like a little porch that looks out over the back, and so she could go out and like stand there. But from the light that comes in from behind her, you can just see this wicked grin spread across her face. Yeah. We will see. If you are so ready, give me one moment. And she goes back upstairs. For those of you who are like, she gets to the top of the stairs and she looks up and she just sees these mage hands stop fighting. She sees the cow bobbing in the air.
Billy doesn't have any mage hand. Billy's just like,
Oh, okay.
It's a real hand.
Hand versus mage hand.
You can see she's about to start saying stuff, and then she looks and she is like dumbstruck by this. Her mouth actually hangs open a little bit. You see the blue tongue.
Billy just looks over, just like really tired. Just not enjoying this.
Okay, no. Deal with this and get underway. And the sort of first mate person just kind of nods and says, right away. Turns and goes to you, and like as he like watches, he goes over to you and he just says, look, if you could just tone it down a bit, that would be great.
Still with the theatrics, but taking the volume down.
That's perfect. Thank you.
And we're still floating like 30 feet.
He like scurries like a foot over to you, Billy, and he just says, I totally understand where you're coming from. Can we just tone it down a little bit? You see Ori just bounces as the string goes fully taut, but no problem. And he just goes, thank you. This is already dangerous enough, and we don't want the captain mad on day one. And begins to like get everybody ready, and as you can see Sade winces as she's in the door and she hears that, and then she comes back and she says, you were not lying.
I am so sorry, Captain. Been a bit of a rocky journey so far.
He's not normally a cow.
I have heard this before.
Really?
There's this like creak of wood and a lurch as the ship begins to move. There is a as the sails go down, and you feel the ship begin to pick up a little bit of speed, and she walks around the side of the table and sits down again. And she says, there is a place on the way to Petrichor. This is where you go. Yes?
Yes, that's right.
There is a temple in the middle of the ocean. This is a place once made to foul gods. It is dangerous, and people have been lost looking for what lies beneath. I will go with you, and we will reach the sanctum at the center of this temple. You may take anything that you find, but there is one thing that I want. And when we get there, I will tell you what that is. Do you understand?
Yes, that all sounds reasonable. What do you know about the temple, the dangers within?
Just stories. This was a place that a priestess once worshipped entities that she claimed to be beyond the stars.
Oh, that's interesting. There wouldn't happen to be, like, creatures made out of elemental water there?
She smiles a little bit at that and she says, you, druid, can you speak to this? And she kind of gestures out the window and you see the blue waves kind of lapping out.
Not today. I thought we were traveling by foot, so I didn't prepare for water.
Well, tomorrow we shall try. But yes, there are creatures of elemental water.
Okay, well, 2 birds, I guess.
2 fish.
Fish.
Alina goes, thank you again, and sorry.
Again, she nods and she goes, believe it or not, in my career, this is not the worst. Yet. It's like long and loud and persisting, this moo. It goes on abnormally long. And you can see it's like she's waiting for it to stop, she's waiting for it to stop, she's waiting for it to stop, and then when it stops, she goes, and then it just
They are good fighters in a pinch. The one who's a cow when he's not a cow can be pretty deadly when he wants to be.
let us hope so.
Yeah.
And because it is 9 o'clock, this is where we're going to step away for a quick break, and then we'll finish up the session. Tom got away from me for a little second. So it is 9:03. We'll be back at 9:13. We'll see you in just a little bit. And howdy, folks. Welcome back to Courts of Everest, where it gets real quiet real quick. We are playing Dungeons and Dragons. We are back to the last part of our session.
Sorry.
It's okay. Where we are going to put the last part of our session. We left off with all of you now sailing away from Everest. Kind of similar themes to the first campaign when you guys sailed right off my continent. Although this time I planned it. You begin to sail away. After a certain amount of time, flight ends. And you are beginning to pull away into the harbor. And so as it does, you allow Ori to fall about 5 feet. And Ori, you go from this beautiful, you're above the boat. You're floating above the boat. Where is grass? Floating above the boat. Where is grass? Floating above the boat. You're falling, and you hit the ground, and you are Ori once more.
Oh, it's been 16 hours?
No. However, when you take damage... Oh, wait, actually, sorry.
Roll for damage.
No. Make a wisdom saving throw.
With my... Holy shit. I should just stay a cow. That's a fucking 19.
That's a 19. So as you slam down into this, you abruptly shift from a cow to a person.
Just less wise.
You can see, like, at this moment, there is, like, this dwarf who is walking by, like, long black beard, really, like, crusty face, like, a lot of sea salt built up, and probably not a lot of showers at sea. But he just kind of looks and just goes, holy shit.
Or for what?
Just claps a couple times. No, she got off.
Why am I eating grass?
Long story short, you're a cow.
What?
Cow.
Billy's like lounging in a
You
pile
look up
of
and there's this
ropes.
dwarf who is like wearing like a vest, and you can see like the clouds over top and some seagulls, and he just goes, "No, it's true. You were a cow a second ago."
Billy's like lounging in some ropes, picking her nails with her dagger, and she's like, "Yeah, you missed some shit."
Crispy.
A talented cow, if that's any consolation.
Also, friend, you look really pretty right now. He just kind of gestures to your face, and he moves on about his tasks.
Are we back on deck by now?
Yes.
Oh, good, you're back.
Technically, I'd never gone. Just
Yeah, well, good to have you not be a cow anymore.
honestly, I thought it was pretty nice.
Yeah. Well,
Pressure.
anyway,
Whoa.
okay, so I met with the captain. I met with the
It
captain.
was like easier to keep his attention. When
Yeah, it's a captain. Listen, so on the way to Petrichor, she's got a task for us. Where there's a temple in the middle of the ocean, and there's an item there that she wants. So we're gonna stop there, help her get it. She said it might be dangerous, but we're equal to the task, right?
How dangerous exactly?
I don't know that I do danger deliberately.
Tracker.
Okay, you guys can
shiny
stay behind if you need
things
to, but I will be going because we made a promise.
For that kind of thing.
Do we get to keep the shiny things? That might help.
All
with
but one.
Shiny things.
Yeah, there'll be shiny things there.
What's the one?
The one that the captain wants.
It's,
Which is what one?
She didn't say.
it's probably because that's the best one.
But also the things that Warren asked for will also be there. So
Who's Warren?
Oh, right.
the Dragonborn.
He was a cow.
Right.
Just fill me in on the way.
We are literally on the way right now.
You like sit up and looking around the ocean. You see like Everest, like the ocean, the shoreline, and you were like, you know, a good 30 minutes out to sea at this point.
One exposition later.
Yeah.
Sail and have a drink.
Oh,
So-
yeah. And Alina reaches in and gets the bottle that Billy had gotten for her, and she takes another long pull and then passes it to Ori.
No problem.
Hand around.
The taste of grass out of my mouth.
Listen, team, I know it's been a weird day.
It's been a pretty pleasant day for
I'm
me.
glad you had a good day as a cow.
Woke up feeling pretty good for considering how much I drank
Or
crispy.
let's just let other people talk. Let them finish their sentences. I know that's difficult.
I mean, I'm just saying, listen, we are a team, right? And we've got a task ahead of us. And I think we can do a good job, just if we just keep it together. All right?
Getting to Petrichor and
This is killing you, isn't it?
Whatever, Cheshire, you said I was a part of a menagerie.
So,
You deserve that headbutt.
what's this danger?
It's our traveling group name. If you don't like it, I'll come up with the next one in the next town. That's what I do. Tell them whatever you want, Ori.
Ori, I'm sure we can learn more about the dangers from the captain. She wasn't quite sure because,
She did say we weren't the worst group that she's ever
Oh, that's
experienced.
good.
She did say that.
That's good.
So,
So,
Positive?
Challenge accepted.
Oh, I shouldn't have said.
so shall we go meet this captain then, or?
Well, I just spoke with her. If you want to meet her, she has a pretty low tolerance for nonsense.
Oh, that
I
rules
can
me
be a
out.
no-nonsense individual if need
Great.
be.
Well, go right ahead then.
Especially when I'm not unexpectedly a cow.
Alina's just gonna take the bottle back and just sit down and all the way done today.
Yeah, no problem. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw. And Ori, if you want, you can go down and talk to the captain. Is anybody else babysitting Ori?
Do it.
I still have all of my valuable possessions.
Make an investigation.
I want to make
22.
sure. Really, the only things that I care about are the
way
obvious.
crazier alcohol than this.
Yeah.
Wine.
Yeah, I'm really
I
only
feel like-
focused on the things that I would obviously care
Of course,
about.
yeah.
Like blow dart's gone. Fuck it. Ooh.
You guys all stand around on the deck, and the seagulls kind of.
It's a 9.
A 9. You have most of the stuff that you came with. You might have lost one of the daggers. You can't find any of them, but you're sure they're all there. You know what you did lose? A bunch of great hours with Crispy, probably. Shucks. Wish you could remember that game. But otherwise, you have most of your stuff. Your staff you have.
Okay. Cool. That's it. That's all I cared about.
Okay.
We're gonna be on the boat for a while, so I guess we can try to make ourselves useful or not a problem.
Actually, does not have the stuff.
I have no interest in
Oh, you
being
took the
useful
staff.
in this
Oh,
moment.
I realize that. Then you do not have the staff. Fair enough.
Yes. We have to go back.
You look. You are on a large ship with 8 or 9 crew members. This no nonsense captain. You guys have been at sea for about 45 minutes at this point. For what
We
it's worth.
can't.
Can I still see the shore?
Barely.
Left a few things behind I can't really leave behind, so I'm gonna just...
Like what?
I lost a few of my belongings, it would seem, and I really can't do that, so I'm gonna go...
Between here and
I was a cow, so I don't really know. But I'm guessing since they're not here with me...
Did
they're
I
back on
see
shore.
Cheshire take the staff when he first turned into a cow?
No. Very markedly, it was still on his back. Cheshire waited until you walked away to do that. I would say, though, you probably have a good idea that Cheshire is the one that, at the very least, knows where this stuff is.
I'm limbering up. I've swam faster or further than this in my training of sorts.
Maybe not in an ocean.
Not in an ocean,
And
but
so-
in terms of endurance, I'm
Yes.
I can probably make it.
As you limber up on the side of the ship, that dwarf now holding a whole bunch of rope stops, and he goes, "Are you going swimming?
As a bit.
Mind the jellyfish.
Don't, no, Ori, don't, Cheshire.
They paralyze you,
Wait, Cheshire-
and then your face gets kind of like this, and then you fall down into the water and you never come back out.
How far?
Make an insight check, Cheshire, to see if she can put together that she probably stole.
Go for it.
Do I need to make a check or do?
No, I would say with Minka,
Absolutely
Minka's
not.
a little naive. I don't know if you've caught on to this, but
She has no
Alina,
idea.
you certainly have an idea. You can't. You don't know. You can't prove it. But like, this is like, okay, you have 3 dogs. They're all golden retrievers. There's a broken pot, and one of them has their head jammed into the wall. There's no dirt on them, but you have a good idea as to who broke it.
All right. Alina is going to hold out the half-empty bottle of liquor to Cheshire and be like, I will try to do this if you give him the staff that I am pretty sure you have.
It's not really all that fun, though.
Are we doing swaps? Is the dwarf kind of like leans and he hoists the rope up?
You know what would be better?
Ori!
That thing that you're looking for? I think it's on the ship.
Where is it?
On the ship.
All right, I'm gonna use my eye for detail.
Make an investigation check.
Alina sits back down and starts drinking. As long as he's not in the water, she could not care less.
Okay, fair enough.
That's gonna be 19.
You like zoom your vision in, everything gets dim. You're like, you see all these different like little things, but none of them are your staff.
I know not to
don't
Ori on like
see it
a multiple
anywhere.
hour adventure looking through the ship.
No problem. Make a stealth check.
Each other busy, that's great.
I suppose.
Yeah, in a way, this works out pretty well.
I'm sure that it's on the ship because I
22.
don't see it anywhere.
Make a perception check,
It's becoming
Ori.
more difficult to get off the ship.
Just to see perception with my eyes.
This is, yes, perception with your eyes.
Can I use my eye for detail?
Yes, you can.
That's a little better. Dirty 20.
Okay. You look for your staff, and though you don't find your staff, you do see a little glint in one of these barrels. And as you like lean over, maybe hoping that it's like something that you could use to like illuminate below decks as you go to search, there's one of these goblin daggers that you remember having pulled up, Damascus steel, and you see it's like put in a very intentional way. It almost looks like a compass's arrow, and following that, slowly you begin to recover your items. Now, as Ori and Cheshire are a little busy, is there anything that the rest of you are doing for this first kind of leg of the journey?
If left to our own devices, Minka will just kind of like try to find a way to be useful on the ship.
Okay.
Being useful in like a group of like everyone does a thing is something that Minka's kind of familiar with. So
Yeah.
she's like, she'll figure out either a task to do or something to make for someone. Just try to be a pleasant. Yeah. Hi.
Hey, you know how we've got like a while to go before this temple? Mm-hmm. And it's gonna be real dangerous. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about some health potions? Like crafting a few?
Sure. Minka kind of like takes out like the
The human who you had all spoken to before comes out, and you're like setting this stuff up on deck, and he would just go, you might want to take that below ground. The wind will sweep most of that away.
Is there a place that we can take over for a little bit?
Take over, no, but make yourself at home amongst the crew quarters.
Okay. That's okay. I don't know where that is.
You've never been on a ship before.
No.
This way. And he sort of like struggles to see how he could help you, but ultimately it's this thing where he's like kind of moving around you and then just like lets you pick everything up. And then he leads you down these stairs. And then down the stairs you see the captain's quarters, but the other side of the ship going forward down the deck, there is like a narrow hallway. There are beds crowded into the bottom, and there are 4 doors that go, and you can see the mast actually comes down through the middle of the hall, so you have to like squeeze around it. There is a sub staircase that goes beneath the captain's quarters, and instantly it kind of catches your eye. These stairs, along the edges of them, have like these metal rungs, and on each of them, you can see areas where at one point gems were set, but no longer. But as you follow those down the steps, at the very bottom, along the wood, you see a line of what you are pretty sure is pure gold that just runs like a seam down the center of the deck and out of sight.
Oh.
However, Kanar turns and he just says, please make yourself at home anywhere amongst these beds. You can go into any of the rooms. There are people sleeping, probably, but just be quiet.
Okay. Is it okay if I like put a little light on or something down here?
That's fine.
Okay. There's not like anything that's like dangerous or reactive or explosive or I don't know. We've had a really weird couple of days.
Below, there are devices that you wouldn't want to bring too much fire near, but they are hardened against this deck and should not pose any risk.
Okay.
There are devices in the front of the ship that I would be wary of touching, lest you find yourself imbued with much power.
That sounds fun.
Sounds great.
Okay. It's a little cryptic, but I will.
I don't quite understand all of it. It's magic stuff, and
Okay.
I'm not really experienced with that. But it powers the weapon, and
Okay.
that's good enough for me.
Okay, so don't touch anything obviously magical. Is roughly what I'm getting.
It's a good life sort of philosophy.
Just to like avoid it, you said the front of the ship below deck?
Yes. Below, he gestures like the stairs. You're welcome to go. It's just quite dangerous.
I'm not there.
Let's find a spot up here.
That would be advisable.
Yeah.
Please find me if you do need anything.
Okay. Thank you.
Welcome to the Cat's Claw. And he heads back upstairs.
Thank you.
So,
That's claw.
that's the name of the ship. So, what are all of you doing? You two, very much busy.
I'm looking for all my
You
shit.
crafting some potions.
Please.
And I would say the first leg of this journey, before things begin to change and shift, is about a day. And so over the course of this first day, what is it that you want to do? Bearing in mind that it begins to get a little bit cloudier towards the evening, for what it's worth. If you want, actually, go ahead and make a nature check and we can talk. Or you have a druid's kit, so make an herbalism check. And I can't remember off the top of my head what this is.
I think it's intelligence. But
What's that?
I think it's either intelligence or wisdom.
I think it's wisdom.
I'm hoping.
I'm gonna vote. I'm voting for wisdom.
Can Billy help based on
makes sense.
childhood
Wisdom.
around
You
potions?
certainly could.
Yes.
I would say go ahead and roll advantage, and this is going to be we'll call it a nature check.
Okay.
I believe that's wisdom based.
It is.
Perfect.
No,
it is
nature's
not.
intelligence
It's
based.
intelligence. Survival is the one.
Give me survival.
Much better. Hey, excellent. 25.
Okay.
Nice.
Over the course of the first day, you can very easily craft 2 regular healing potions. No problem. Or that was so successful towards the end of this process, and especially with Billy's help. Billy knows a lot about potions, and in a different way than you do. There are elements that Billy is familiar with that, like, you would never have really thought of, and vice versa. There are things that Minka points out that are acutely different from things that you were taught. Minka's entire philosophy around working with these kind of ingredients is like cheerful and in and of itself very different than what you're used to. But you spend a little time and you can do that, and it is so successful that if you wish, you can make another survival check and risk these potions by combining them to create something a little bit more powerful. Up to you.
Would it still be at advantage?
Yes, it would still be at advantage, in fact. And mechanically, you will either be receiving 2 common, just regular healing potions, or 1 greater healing potion.
Thou shalt do as thou wishest. Up to you.
Judging by
Roll
how...
the dice, baby.
No, I'm just trying to think of like...
Or he's like running down the hall and he just says that as he goes.
Judging by how things have gone, I'm wondering if it's more useful to have 2 smaller potions. So if multiple people go down,
Did we
versus one
come
big
here
one.
to think about
Popcorn
things, or
healing.
did we come here to roll dice?
Roll dice. But also,
I think Alana's here to think.
think about rolling the dice.
Yeah, I think at this point, because she's just going to take the success
Okay, yeah.
and just be like, we'll strategically distribute these. So when inevitably we go down, it'll be less instantaneous death.
Good stuff. You can add 2 common healing potions to your inventory. Half of your herbal kit herbalism herbs are gone. Ori, over the course of the first day, you recover all of your stuff. Where is Ori's staff? Where is like the end of this scavenger hunt?
Come on, just I know you've got it.
I want it to
I'll give
be
you, what do you want from me? I don't have. You already took my gold too.
somewhere.
I only had 2 pieces. You took my gold.
You're making this very difficult.
You're making it very difficult for me.
Both, like, obvious, but like difficult at the same time.
Oh,
You're
great.
making it very difficult for me.
Ori, you look for your staff. You found everything but the staff, the most important thing. You're beginning to sweat. You are getting further and further away. In fact, as you look out and through the broken window of the captain's quarters, you can see through the porch, there is just the barest hills of land. And suspended over that porch, just lashed with some rope, your staff.
How did you?
You see the captain, this half-orc, who is sitting at the table, like charting out this course.
Maybe the captain did it. Did you ever think about that?
I didn't think about that
Did you ever
because I
think
know
about
that it wasn't the
I
captain.
have been sitting here this entire time.
You know
Got your hand.
there is no window, so I can hear every word you say. What do you want?
I'm gonna come through. I just gotta get my things, my belongings.
I just figured this.
Are you the cow?
Was the cow? Not really sure. I'd been drinking.
She stands up, she crosses the room, she opens the door, so now you're communicating through an actual open door, and she says, "No, you are not coming in here.
But it's just on the back there.
You may look from there
Right, I do need that.
tomorrow. You need to learn the difference between need and want."
I think I have a good idea.
Shuts the door. Goes back to her desk.
Is there
begins
a way
kind of
for me
plot
to
on this
be able
again.
to scale around to get
Yeah,
to
if
it?
you want to go back up on top, drop down, and then like scale around, drop down a whole deck, hand over hand, and then grab your staff. Hell yeah, you can do that.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna try to do that.
Phenomenal.
God.
So you watch Cheshire.
Is there a
Who
place-
has a flying sprite?
Is there a place where I
Okay.
can tie? Oh wait, where's my rope? Did you give me back my rope? Oh. All right, guess I'm doing it without a safety harness.
So you go up to the deck. While you're doing
And Gunter is peering around the
Is there a certain Gunter in our?
that, Alina, what are you doing for the first day?
Um,
You see this like scavenger hunt happening.
Yeah.
You like at a couple points you'll see, you know, they're making potions down there. What are you doing?
well, she spends the first probably half of the day drinking to make herself feel better. And then I think
Group
she
has a problem.
Yeah.
I just want to say it.
And then I think she would just kind of like wander around and talk to people and try and make friends and spread the good word about Sir Nuno's to make herself feel better.
Make a persuasion check, or actually just a flat charisma check. And this is sort of like over the course of the day, your sort of impression on the crew.
Yeah. 10.
You're a little drunk, and so like you go up, and in your mind you're like, let me just tell you about my Lord and Savior Sir Nunos. But what's really happening is you're going up and you're like, hey, let me tell you about this great guy. You'll love him. And it's a little bit less convincing than you're probably meaning for it to be.
Yeah.
And so surprisingly, no converts to Sir Nunos today.
Okay.
Anything else before Ori may die?
I mean, did I notice him like trying to do this climb?
So from what I know about Ori, he like loosens up every time. So at some point you all come up and like, I would say with the exception of Minka and Billy, who are like making these potions.
I'm also going to be trying to do it discreetly because I don't want to attract attention to the fact that I'm trying to sneak onto the captain's
Hannah wants Alina to notice.
You do notice.
Okay. So I'm gonna...
Odds are even. So.
Nice. Thank you. I'm just gonna go up next to Ori. And because I'm like a little drunk, a little sloppy, I just... to Ori, all of a sudden, Alina's face just kind of appears. Hey.
Hey.
What are you doing?
I was just getting some fresh air before...
Did you get your stuff back?
Most of the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mom.
Can I help you find whatever's missing?
I have a good understanding of where most of it is.
I can see that he doesn't have his staff, right?
Certainly, yeah. And he's like, I imagine at this point, he's like 1 foot like up on the side of the rail, like ready to go over.
Just kind of trying to casually lean on the railing.
His like foot is actually still off the ground, but he's just like leaning there.
And Alina's just gonna be like, "Where'd you hide your staff, Ori?"
Yes. Sure. You've got one of those magic hands, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Would you give me a magic hand?
Sure, bud. How far away is the staff?
From like the top part of the ship, it is down 10 feet and then around 30 feet. Okay. So I think probably just out of range, unless it's 60. I can never remember.
Do I think that Petal could carry the staff?
Oh, that would be like, yes, in the same way that like, could a human carry another human? Of course. How far? And like, it's
Can a swallow carry a coconut?
So,
Pixies are just like ants, you know?
they're strong. She truly is.
Okay.
But that's like, it's a staff.
I got a plan.
Okay.
I got a plan. All right. So, I'm going to. Petals. I summoned her during the last long rest, so I'm gonna call her, and she. Yeah.
Fuck you.
She probably hates me, but that's okay.
You see just the fluttering wings in her back.
Hi, Petal. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna send Petal to go get it. And then I'm gonna extend my mage hand as far as it'll go, so that Petal just has to carry it a little bit and then give it to the mage hand.
Yeah. No problem.
And while I'm explaining this to her, I go, Petal, there's no monsters. Everything's gonna be perfectly safe.
There are jellyfish in the water.
Yeah, so don't fall in the water.
That's what that guy said to me before I was about to go into the water.
Okay then, off you go.
She turns, and for a minute, like the wings flutter a little bit.
Appreciate what you're doing for me, Petal.
She kind of glares at Ori. It's almost like your emotions do blend a little bit, and so like she has like she has an interesting perception of Ori. She just flutters off, and about halfway over just becomes invisible and moves over. Go ahead and make an athletics check for Petal. We'll lose Ori's staff and Petal again.
If that thing goes in the water, I'm diving
Athletics.
after it.
Oh God, athletics?
Yeah.
You sure athletics?
Yeah.
Really acrobatics at quarterstaff.
Let me front handspring the staff to you.
10.
10. Ooh. So Petal goes and grabs it and begins to like manipulate it, but it's lashed to this. And you can see this little bow with this heart-shaped ribbon on top of it. And she's unable to like loosen it. Her little finger's unable to. And mentally she's like, I'm approaching. I'm like trying to untangle it. This is really tight. And you can hear her like grunting and struggling, but she can't quite get it off.
Okay, stand down, Petal, stand down.
What's that supposed to mean?
The knot is too tight for her.
She just reappears.
Yeah, so we're gonna have to find another way.
All right. Well, you have She took my rope. Do you have some? All right, just hold on to the other. Tie the other end off.
At this point, that dwarf is like coming back again. He has no rope this time, but he's holding like a crate. He just goes, "What are you doing?"
There's something down there. I gotta go grab it.
So why can't you just?
Ocean. There's water down
It's
there.
it's not all
And
the way
there's
down.
jellyfish
It's
down
not
there.
all the way down. I know about the jellyfish, mate. You just told me about them.
Then why are you going in?
I'm not going in. I'm going just a little lower.
What?
Don't worry. Just tie it off.
Okay.
Could you check her knots? You're good at knots. You're on a ship.
I mean, that's a bit presumptuous.
Really?
I mean, I am good at knots.
You're good at knots, yeah.
He goes back down and he begins to like check. No problem. The knots are good.
Okay, and before I let him go, I'm like,
scaling.
is there
He's
a
like-
reason why? Wait, stop! Is there a reason why you couldn't just ask the captain to walk through her quarters?
Did. She wasn't very happy with me because I was a cow.
I told you that she didn't like nonsense.
What's that?
You need to get something from the captain.
Well, it's not really from the captain. It's just around the captain.
You should ask the first mate. He can get it for you.
Who's the first mate?
Mr. Crowley.
Maybe we should try that.
All right, you go find this Master Crowley. I'm gonna go try to.
Look, I'm going to be honest with you. The captain, she's a bit hot-headed. And it really helps to go through Kano for all of this stuff.
And Kano's
Master Crowley, yes.
Right, all right. So even though I can literally see what I want, and
Do whatever you want. I'm not going to stop you. I'll watch.
all right, I'll go check with this Master Crowley first. But then I'm getting this
It's
stuff,
Plan B. I get it, bud. You've had a hard day.
and I'm gonna get you back too, wherever you are now.
Finally, we're of the same mind then. All right, go
See,
find
he looks
Master
like a
Crowley.
little spooked. And he just goes, "We've got bad spirits in board.
Yeah, we do.
I'll get the
Go on.
sage." And he like goes below ground. And he because like, yeah, he's a little spooked. No
I'm
problem.
gonna go look for this
Yeah,
Master Crowley.
he's a human. You've talked to him a couple times. He's up on
I
deck. He
haven't.
seems
I'm
to
a
be.
cow.
Oh, you haven't, right?
I'll go. Wait, did I just explode?
That just exploded.
Wow.
Goodbye, pen.
Forcibly ejected.
You do find him, no problem, and he is directing everything. He seems to be the first mate, but telling him about his staff, you would hear him just say, "You really shouldn't lose things in her quarters."
Right, so it wasn't really me, and it wasn't really lost. It was sort of placed in a place that would be very disadvantageous for me and problematic, while also providing a sense of humorous relief for a friend of mine.
That's a lot
Yes.
of words.
Yes.
I'll get the staff.
Or,
In the future, please try to keep your possessions on your person.
honestly, this is the first time it's happened.
I'm
I've
beginning
never
to
been a cow
understand
before,
the
but,
sheets of paper. He begins to go, and he heads
still have
over
not
down the
attached them.
stairs.
While we wait, I'm gonna explain the sheets of paper.
It's just sheets.
There's a moment when you're crafting stuff downstairs, or you hear footsteps, and you see this human walk downstairs. He turns and he says, "I met your friend." And he goes and he like knocks on the door and walks into the captain's quarters. A couple seconds go by, and he comes out with this like staff that's Ori's. He just kind of like raises an eyebrow and heads back up the stairs.
Cheshire
And
has moved on to haunting the dwarf.
Cheshire, when you go downstairs, it's like dark. You see he like walks past you guys, and as he does, he stops and he goes, "Be careful. There's bad spirits about."
I'm getting the sage.
And he like runs back, and you see he opens the very rear door, and you can see like crates and stuff, all kinds of like storage. And he goes over, and if you're like in there, make a stealth check.
That's 26.
Okay, so he's muttering to himself, and you can see him. Are you invisible?
No.
Okay, so you're like hidden amongst the crates, up in some netting, and looking down, you can see he's like opening a box. He has like sage bundles. You can see like religious iconography of various types. This is like a superstitious dude, and he's like muttering to himself. Do you speak Dwarvish?
No.
Okay, so he's just muttering to himself in Dwarvish, and you can hear him just say, "Waton Kransk to Kratego, Waton Kras Dragon," and he like takes the sage and he goes out and he like watches out. He walks by you and he just takes it and like waves it and just goes, "Spirits," and he like walks back up the stairs.
Wait.
I want to haunt him with the dancing lights, make it kind of this eerie blue color, just randomly pop up.
So over the course of the next like couple hours, you're watching this dwarf like chasing lights with Sage, trying to smudge them out of existence. No problem. You watch a couple of the other crew members who seem to have seen this before. And so there's a couple people who are just like, oh, doing it again. But no problem. So you torture a dwarf. You are going to go after your staff.
I'm waiting. Yeah, I'm waiting after.
Kenor returns with the staff.
All right.
About to put it in your hands. And he just goes, please.
It's never going to leave my sight.
She's going to be very unhappy with all of you.
Yeah.
And you're going to a dangerous place.
Disappointment is sort of in my blood.
That's weird. He gives you the staff back.
Appreciate it.
He looks like he's almost about to say something, and then he just goes, this is a weird group. And he heads back off to like attend to his duties.
At least I'm not wearing a mask.
So at this point,
That's true.
Now, as you're traveling, oh, sorry, please.
oh no, that's okay. You go.
As you're traveling, the clouds begin to die down, and you recognize there is a place where you can see, for the first time, a little bit of sun. You've been heading to the east, and so you are reaching the edges of this astral eclipse, and you can see little sun rays that are just beaming down through clouds here and there. And then in other places, just even further beyond, there are like dark patches, and it kind of alternates here and there. But a little bit further out, and I would say, Alina, you like being on deck and being the most with like what's actually happening up here, you are the first to see there is a large patch where the clouds seem to end, although not quite. Make a perception check. I'm gonna turn down the seagulls.
Bad at stuff. 9.
9. With the 9, nice sunny skies ahead.
Yeah.
That seems to be where you're headed. So no problem. For the rest of you, you accomplish all of your various tasks to various levels of success. And after about a day and a half total from your initial outset,
Still looking for my flute.
okay, so that's still going on. You reach to a place where there is not a single cloud in the sky. And Minka, at this point, you finish these things, and so if you wish, you're up on deck. You see for the first time in your entire life, not just this forever twilight or forever dawn, you see blue. You see blue and wisps of white, but through you see blue, and distantly, as it's close to like 2 p.m. at this point, you can see faintly the glow of a moon. You've never seen anything like this, but for a moment it does bring back to you the memories of the stars. Also, make a perception check as you look up. What was that?
12.
Totally normal sky. That's just, doing sky stuff. You all make your way. Billy.
Did you get it back?
I see that it is on Cheshire's possession.
I see. It's in the inventory box on the character sheet.
I rolled eye for detail
Yeah, I
against the sleight of hand.
Just rogue DMing yourselves over there.
There's a one-shot happening on the side.
It's a little 1v1 rogue.
Worst one shot ever.
Billy.
Looking for flute.
As you are downstairs with Minka, nearing the ends of this, you've put some polishing touches, and it's funny. You're going through things that you learned a long time ago, and the context is very different. You look up at this person, and they're just kind of like bubbly and like, mixing all these things. And so in a way, it's almost kind of jarring, because there are still elements of your past that seem to creep in through this activity. You feel this kind of feeling on the back of your neck, almost like long fingers just moving a stray strand of hair out of the way. In this moment, there's a sudden sense that it is not memories that are coming back. There is a true strange feeling, and it's not entirely alien. Make a perception check, Billy.
13.
Billy, you, with this feeling, you kind of like shrug that off and feel like there's just something you can't shake. You go over and kind of look out the porthole, and there is clear skies ahead, which you may have never seen before. But that's not it. What really catches your attention is that you still see clouds, but they are cut off at a perfect circle. They go wide around this area of ocean that you are currently sailing across. Perfectly circular. You've heard of and have encountered beings that have this kind of control over the weather. For what it's worth. And behind you, you feel this presence. It is the orc.
Oh.
We are here. Come. We are going for a walk. And she turns and heads up the stairs.
We're all of
Is
us
she
there?
like making sure Billy comes with her?
No.
Billy's gonna go down to the hold.
Okay. You make your way down the steps, one by one, feeling the uneven metal where once gems were set. And at the bottom, there is this thin, pure gold line set into the ground. And you follow it, and it traces out and forward into 3 different points. You see crystals that hum with this low energy, similar, not dissimilar, I guess, to the ones that you heard from those monoliths out in Hopewell. But the hum is much stronger here, and your hair begins to stick up. There is latent energy in this room. You feel electricity in the space. And you see these crystals are almost in like these tubes, and the gold disappears up and into the hold. And you remember, or maybe Alina had told you, but somebody had seen this platform above deck on the front of the ship, and it looks like it's hinged, almost able to turn over. And above you, this is the 3rd deck, and so there's something in between, but there is a similar kind of hinged platform. There is a space where you can kind of unlatch it and peer in if you want, but this seems to connect to whatever's up top.
So, Mr. Crowley said that touching it would go poorly.
Touching anything that was like humming would go poorly,
And
but
that,
this looks like a handle, so probably not like...
well, in that it would imbue you with power, is the way he phrased it.
That's the way he phrased it. And
like
make an insight check.
watts of
Yes.
power.
Is Billy wise enough to know that that's
Yeah.
maybe a bad thing to touch? Probably not. That's a 12.
It just looks like a door handle. One of those ones that you kind of like and pull the door in.
They're running their own little session over there.
Still feeling that, like, finger on her neck. Billy's gonna open the door.
Oh,
You open it, and as you do, there's a glint of metal. Looming over top you and upside down, there is a huge bronze griffin statue. And because it is 9:56,
Of course.
as Captain Sade Daruk gathers you all on the bridge of the Cat's Claw, that is where we're going to end for this evening. So, thank you for joining us for this session of Courts of Everest. We'll be back next week on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but if you can't wait that long, next Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be playing Starfinder. I'll be there, Matt will be there, Carol will be there. But until then, please stay safe. It is crazy out there. We'll see you later.
bye.
Bye.